Rumboy table, not round the square or triangle. We come to hang and the gang on Fridays, that's we're able. We play well here in Camelot, we are chums and fun, but Camelot. We're nice to Rumboy table, our host is formidable. He runs his train, walks insane, but sure he's quite unstable. He's hobby mad in Camelot, but seems never to have done a lot. Able, quite incomprehensible. To wrenching and we have no plan but to sit and hear Dodge babble. It's a lazy time in Camelot.
I have to shake my bum a lot.
This channel is a not-so-proud member of YouTube's all-encompassing special society of heavily overwhelmed layout enthusiasts. Check any railway show, check any railway club, check any layout, check your own house. You'll find one of us somewhere. Warning, the content of this stream is not suitable for children under the age of 16. The topic, language, themes, attitude, and personality of the presenter is not appropriate for anyone, much less children under the age of 16. Topics discussed will not center on trains and will focus on anything except politics. It just happens trains are running. Any similarity between characters, situations, trains, and intelligent thoughts is strictly a coincidence. Any rebroadcast or transmission of the stream without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is strictly prohibited. Viewer discretion is advised. Remember the 3 rules for model train layouts and pretty much anything. It's your layout, do what you want as you want. Do not tell someone else what to do unless they ask you directly what they should do. Do not call out, mock, criticize, or insult another channel on your channel or anyone else's channel. Thank you for your cooperation.
And see it, you'll love it, and it's all done in the best possible way.
Hey, welcome in, fellow knights of the Rumboy table. The great hall is open, the fire is lit, the feast is prepared. We're just waiting for the royal barkeep to get everything open, but if not, we'll have somebody else step in and take care of that. I hope my fellow knights are all fine on the other side of the computer camera. It's been, for me personally, it's mostly been a good week. The only negative, really, was Joyce and I were supposed to go out of town this weekend. We were supposed to go down to Columbus and visit our son and daughter-in-law because their birthdays were early in July, and they were out of town on their birthdays, and everybody's trying to line up a weekend where we could all get together. So the entire family was going to go down to Columbus and spend the weekend in Columbus, but unfortunately, illness has crept into parts of the family, and to be on the safe side, we're all going to avoid. Joyce and I at this time are fine. We're not the ones sick, but nobody wants to take a chance and risk spreading the illness. It's been bad timing. It's been a summer of sick. I had a long illness, then Joyce had a little bit of a cold, and now other members of the family are having it. But that's the bad news for us. So anyhow, let's see who is here and welcome everybody in. Sir Andrew of Shortbread Express is here. Sir Andre Eckert is here. Sir Andy 81E is here. Sir Lee of Anfield Road is here. Sir Artie from Ausmerica is here. Sir Greg from Great Northern is here. Sir Andy, the hot dog pilot, is here. Sir Ifo Van Zon is here. Sir Dame Jackie is here. Sir Jean of Ricard is here. Sir Andy from March West Junction is here. Very cool video today. Very cool video. Sir Dino from the Model Railway Shed is here. Dino, it's great to have you here. We missed you last week. Sir John of the Mystic Railroad is here. Sir Randall Ellison is here. I guess with Randall's connection with NASCAR, we should make Randall the royal mechanic, the all around vehicle overlord of the Knights of the Round Boyd table. Let me see, somebody just popped in or above. Oh, Center Bounty is here. And is that Roberto? I forget. Darn it, I forgot the name. Sir Dirk of Southern Cross Rail System is here. Our CEO, Sir Tim of Dowd, is here. Sir Tom of Couples, the Sergeant at Arms, is here. Sir Tom Houston, which I think I'm going to give you a royal title, but then I'm going to have to start giving everybody royal titles. Sir Tom of Houston shall now be the royal archivist, the guy that goes in and tries to find all the things lost in the lofts and the sheds. We've already got, in my opinion, the royal librarians, the royal advisors, which would be like Raymond Legs, Jean Ricard, and Sir Ifo Van Zon and such. Sir Chris of the Valleys is here. And I think that's everybody that's on my list. Okay, so let me talk about a couple of things before I get to the trains. Number one, obviously, I posted a video that a few of you watched in which I showed that I got back to work a little bit on my layout. Sir Leo of Limited N Gauge is here. Sorry, Leo, you didn't talk, so your name disappeared off my list. I did notice you were in earlier, but you weren't on my list because if you go like 2 minutes or something like that without typing in chat, it takes you off the list of names. It's one of those screwy things they do. And let me see. So no, we don't want to encourage you to have to talk more than you're comfortable with. It's just, unfortunately, that's what happens, and that's why I missed you. If anything, I should have remembered that I saw your name earlier, but I'm just a tad distracted today. So let's get into, like I said, I did do a little bit of work, so the keen eye that actually do follow the little developments on my layout will notice some things have been moved. I talked about that in my video. Overall, I'm quite happy. Yeah, that hatch, you know, a couple of people were talking earlier about my little hole. That was done before last week's live stream, and I had it already covered. So the hole is gone. It's just there when needed. Oh, my shirt? My shirt is from celebrating Grenen Skyen, Denmark. This is a shirt from the tippy top of Denmark, that little point where you get the Skagerrak, which is actually considered part of the North Sea. It's a strait, but Jean Ricard, according to science, the Skagerrak is part of the North Sea, and it's a strait between that where the water from the North Sea flows between Norway and Denmark, but it immediately runs into the Kattegat, which is a sea. It's not considered part of the Baltic Sea. And so Denmark comes to this little point, comes to this little point when you look at it on a map, a little sideways point. And Joyce and I went up there. Those videos are on Joyce's channel, and I posted it when I was there. So we stood at the point where Denmark disappears into the sea. That little point, Denmark gets narrower, narrower, and narrower, and then it's in the sea. And the thing is, the currents from the two bodies of water conflict. So you have waves coming this way and waves coming that way, and they crash into each other. And depending on the wind, you could see them crashing, zigzagging up out into the distance. It's a very cool experience. I'm so glad we did that. If you look at a picture, it's like, oh, you're just at a sandy beach. But when you're there and you see the waters conflicting and your brain goes, you're standing at a point where this country begins or ends. You can't do that in America. You can't go stand at somewhere in Florida or somewhere in California and go, here's where the United States begins or ends. We've got so many little points around. Denmark, you just have that one point and then it widens out and goes into the rest of the continent. So anyhow. So, yeah, that's what the shirt's about. And obviously there are seals and whales and other things that can be up there. So, anyhow, let me touch on something that if you read the description to my videos, which some people do, most people I don't think do, a controversy in the UK, a small one, erupted earlier this week. I'm not going to name names because I don't believe in calling out channels, especially if the topic's going to be considered negative, and I don't want anybody else talking about it. The only thing I want to say about it is that whenever there's such a controversy where somebody posts something and somebody else interprets it maybe the way the person didn't intend it to be, but if you listen to it, well, maybe they did kind of say that, and maybe they didn't mean it the way they said it, or what have you. If somebody is upset by that and they post a reply video, it becomes no longer a discussion. It becomes all the people that love one channel over the other start fighting and going to the other channel. Now, the original, quote, offending video was taken down. Unfortunately, a retort video by the person who posted the video that was considered by some people to be wrong, and I'm not saying it was wrong or right. But anyhow, I'm taking it down video still had a little bit of snarl in it for having to feel they had to take their video down. Again, I'm not really taking a side. I'm friends with one channel that posted a reaction, and I'm not friends, but I'm not disliking the other channel. And it got ugly because the people that, how dare you criticize the channel I love, that shit gets going. And that's where any chance of an intelligent discourse gets lost. It's where, hey, Sir Raymond of Legs, how are you? Welcome in. And that's the thing. It's when the people, in the end, if you thought you were, if you thought, hey, I didn't say what they're saying I said, then what I would have done is post a video and say, hey, look, this is what I was trying to say. I'm sorry if it got taken differently. I apologize if you heard this. You have to sublimate your ego. You have to sublimate. It's not about surrendering. It's about saying, well, I don't think I did anything wrong, but what you're saying I said, I did not say that, okay? And then on the other side, you also got to say, okay, well, I apologize if I misheard you. But instead, I'm seeing friendships being ended over this as one person notices that somebody they're friends with on this channel is over here and, coming, well, I thought we were friends. Well, that's it. How dare you take the other side? And it's stupidity. I don't blame either guy for the videos they posted. Okay? I don't blame either guy. And I can see where this person wasn't saying what the other person said they were saying, but I can also see where you could interpret what they were saying that way. And it's nuts. So if you're in the UK and you know the controversy, please just leave it out. I just wanted to throw that out there so people won't talk about it in here. Because again, it's just one of those unfortunate circumstances where, maybe somebody didn't choose the best words to say what they were saying, and another person got upset and said, hey, you said this. Well, I didn't say that. Well, yes, it's how you meant it. That's not how I meant it. And then what happens is the fans of one channel or the other get in and start going at each other. And I kept my mouth out of it. I did not say boo one way or the other, which is sometimes odd for me.
Because in some ways it's like, well, I should stick up for my friend, and in other ways, the whole thing could have been handled on all sides better. But that's why you have controversies. Hey, Sir Carl from Bangor Junction. Welcome in, my good friend. It's nice to see you. And Andre, I caught earlier that you said you do TT. So that's typical, I think, of the East. I mean, TT is the second largest size after HO in Eastern Germany and Poland in that area. Yes, Sean Ricard, I saw that. Unfortunately, they want $500 for it, and I cannot spend $500 on a locomotive right now because I'm subscribed to their Facebook page, so I saw the ad. Hello, Mara King. Welcome in, Dame Mara. It's wonderful to have you here. There's the battle of the traction tires. Yeah, I was catching some of that. Again, I don't have a strong opinion. Pretty much every locomotive I has traction tires, and I see channels in the UK and America that hate, and Germany that hate traction tires. Other people like me aren't bothered by it one way or the other. It's a war that doesn't need to be fought. It's like the weathering war, guys that go on and say, well, if you don't weather your model trains, then what's the point of even being into the hobby? And I'm like, there comes a point where, dude, you like it weathered. I spent $1,000 on that beautiful train. I'm not putting stains on it. The nice thing, because I personally hate graffiti. I consider it vandalism. I'm old school. I'm sorry. It's one of the few things I might be considered conservative or old-fashioned about. But I don't care how cool it looks. I don't like graffiti. So in my model train world, graffiti doesn't exist. Weathering, again, it looks cool for the people who do, but I'm not going to do it. I don't say don't weather. I think it looks great for the guys that are pros and really do it well. But again, I'm not going to weather my stuff. Yeah, that's a big thing, Tom Houston, is I've had a problem with Piko traction tires. I've had to replace a lot of Piko traction tires just this year. In fact, I had to replace 5 of them. I forget what it was, Jean. When I was talking to Jean while I was doing some of it, I had to replace 5, 6 of them in a week and a half period. I had 3 or 4 different Piko locos blow traction tires, which is funny because I had bought them all around the same time as well. So apparently Piko traction tires have a very definitive expiration date. Anyhow, let's look at the trains that I am going to run today. The title of today's show will tell you none of my trains are real trains. This was just a theme. It started with I haven't run my 111s in a while, and I mentioned my 111s, and I was talking to Andrew Eckert about my 111s, and I said I'd be running them soon. And somebody else had asked me about the 111s. I don't do request, okay? I don't do request. I pick the trains I'm going to run and run them. And but every now and then somebody may make a suggestion, and I might put it in the back of the brain and let it simmer for a few weeks. But anyhow, let's go to the 11-lane view, what we're running today. So these are all false flags. So some of them have run very recently. Like it was just 3 weeks ago that Amtrak ICE 3 there ran. So he's running today because it doesn't exist in reality. And then, let's see, which exactly, Tim, yeah. And then my second train here, I am running my Märklin, all Märklin. Of course, this train does not exist in reality. There is not a train that has, a locomotive that have been put in this black with red lettering livery, but it's still cool to have. In lane 3, I could not decide what to run with it. So just to totally go off the reservation, so to speak, just to go crazy, here is this Euro 2024 Märklin Class 185 Loco that there is no livery like this in reality. It is just something they did as a model. And then just to complete its lack of reality, it's a whole bunch of Era 4 beer wagons, which would have never been pulled by this Class 185. But what the heck, we got some very colorful beer wagons, and I tried to have only one wagon for each beer, and of course there are hundreds of beers in Germany, but I tried not to duplicate, like have 2 Lowenbräus or 2 Hofbräus or 2 Becks or whatever. So got him going. And then the 2 Class 111s experimentals. Now these, you could say they're an exception because these locos and cars did briefly exist, but they never ran routes. They were merely painted up as a demonstration when Deutsche Bahn in the mid-late 80s, 86, 87, were looking for a new cohesive livery scheme. So I'm bringing these guys back out for the first time in a while. Which is where this all started. I wanted to run these guys because I haven't run them in a while, but I was going to originally run all 111s or trains that had ones in them, like 111s, add 01s, my steamer 01s. Okay, so the other 111 is gonna run here now. So let me get this one in motion. Come on, you can do it. It's always funny. It's got that little, there's like a speed step, like at 64 miles an hour it goes slow, and then at 68 it starts to go fast. Just has that little startup, and then it will level out. It's the other thing I wish the mobile stations too did was show the speeds. And then way in the back, I'm running a 3-car ICE-1 that has the German flag, because we were talking about this in last week's show. Somebody wants the Federal Republic of Germany ICE-4, which is the only actual train that has the German flag striping on it. But Herb took an ICE-3 and an ICE-1 and got German flag stripes on those. So this one is the ICE-1. It's running in the back because it's nice and short. Hey, you're running the wrong way, dude. So I'm really running three of my locos. Well, no, that's not correct. One of my locos is a Herb. Uh-oh, we have an issue, and I better stop a train before it goes bad. Somebody abandoned some of their beer wagons. And hello, Simon from SJ. Just a quick one. Long 14-hour day at work and you want to get home and get to sleep. I understand that. So unfortunately, my beer wagon's going to come back in view here because he abandoned 4 of his beer cars here. 5 of his beer cars here. Now, how do you get that far and then suddenly decide to uncouple? I can see why. You're one of those crafty truckers. You know what? I'm just going to... That's part of the problem. It is two different type couplers. Now, let me see. Where did I put the guy I just took off? Right here. Yeah, dude, those are some weird couplers on you. I don't recognize those. All right, well, let's put this guy back in motion. And let's see if things go more smoothly. Let's see if it's the Beck's beer wagon is the issue. Anyhow, somebody just come in. I seriously doubt that. I don't end friendships over model trains. I don't get jealous. I'm happy with mine, and if you get stuff you like, yours. Especially since it's a freight train, because freight trains aren't my thing. I have freight trains. I love the freight I have, but I'm not looking at somebody else going, oh, you got the freight train. I know it's all just words and we're just playing around, but sadly, even the joke doesn't work because I'm not worried about trains anybody else has. I'll just look at trains and go, oh, and the lower deck. What are we running on the lower deck? You're right, yes. The lower deck, the bottom layout, the sunken Atlantis layout. Let's see what we're running down here. What we are running down here, we are running the Beatles Singles from Liverpool Train with the Hand of God starting it up, with the Class 73, and then the Mallard is pulling the Beatles album Boxcars. And did that car just hop the rail when it started up? Now, are you making it around? Yes, you made it around. That guy made it around. But I got to double check something here on the floor. That looked like that one car. Yep. Dude, what the heck? Just because of a startup. Wrong. Are you derailed that way too? One other person is sounding derailed here. Who else? Who else is sounding derailed? Oh, you. Dude. I am tired of you too. Just freaking stay hooked. There's something weird between... Well, hello, Sir Steve of 87th PSAP. Hello, Sir Brian of Clintonville. Dust in the needle. All we are is dust in the needle. So anyhow, that's what we're running today. So let's get to, I'm going to start with the multi-view for a little bit. So those of you on phones will squint and lose your eyesight even faster. Whoa! Hang on. All right, I've had it with the shore wagon. Dude, you are aggravating me. This is the second time I've had you in front of a car and you've derailed or uncoupled from it. I'm going to just stop it here. I do not like your couplers. You got weird couplers, so you're just coming off and hopefully, whoops, this guy will be fine. Okay, sorry about that, guys. But, and this guy's acting up again. Oh, I picked two guys that just want to be jerks today. Alright, what is your grand issue, dude? And of course you now. Oh my god, do I just need to take you out? Sorry, a couple of those Hornby Beetle boxcars keep derailing. Their D joints, their D couplers are bouncing each other weird, and their hooks, I don't know. One of those crazy things. Hello, Sir Leslie of Gilpin. Welcome in. But yeah, so yeah. So Raymond of Legs, hello, if I didn't say hello to you. But sometimes you just get a... Yeah, that is not... Okay, so you are... Oh, this is a River Rossi. And it's got its own little version of the universal bits. I think I'll take those off and replace them with... could I get away with Märklin short couplers? Probably not. I'll do the standard Märklin Relics. Okay, you're getting the Challenger decoder reset up and back. That's cool. Glad to hear it, Brian. Well, what's weird is with these Beetle wagons, because of course they're just a generic El Cheapo. They slap a Beetle logo on it and sell it to us Beetle fans. They're very lightweight. I probably should go in and add some weight to them. But the D couplers, one of them looks like it's a little misformed or malformed on the Magical Mystery Tour one. And it just seems to occasionally get caught and rub up with the car behind it, which causes it or the car behind it to uncouple. I don't know what's going on with the Hard Day's Night wagon today. It just seems to be throwing little fits today. Oh, the double-decker coaches generation. Hey, Sir Rick of Rick's Trades is here. That was an eye-opener a bit, if you don't mind me saying, with your video, Rick. And if you guys don't know, Rick from Rick's Trains runs Lionel O-Gauge 3-rail. He lives, about 15, 20 miles north of me here. I'm in the south end Toledo. He's in the north end of Toledo's Michigan suburb, Monroe. We probably don't get together as often as we should, considering how close we are. All right, let's go to some big views now. We got one going down the ramp. And about the time he finishes going down the ramp, we'll have that ICE coming up the ramp, along with that beer car. But here you can see the new grass is in. Yeah, for those who don't know, while Artie's in Europe, Wacky Weekend has been at 4 o'clock Eastern my time, which makes it 9 p.m. UK time. So UK people could actually come in, 10 p.m. Central European time. So a lot of the UK guys that usually can't go to Wacky Weekend can actually come in. It's still early in the morning Australian time, but it's basically 4 hours earlier than normal. But Wacky Weekend is still going. Genetic disorder, D-ring, coupling. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Actually, Evo, they are NEM. They are NEM, so I could switch them out and put some Märklin, Telex, Relex. I always... Because there's one thing called a Relex coupler, something else called a Telex coupler, and I can never remember which one goes with which. I think Märklin's the Telex. But yeah, Joyce, the last video of our trip, including Joyce, well, you don't see her go swimming because I went swimming and she went swimming, so there was nobody to film. I mean, if Jean Ricard had been there, we might have handed him the camera and said, film us swimming. But then I don't know how uptight Joyce would have been being in a swimsuit in video while she's swimming. I mean, I filmed her afterwards where I was teasing her about finally having gone swimming in the Baltic Sea. And she did stay out there for a while. Joyce did stay in the Baltic Sea for a good 15 minutes or more. So, and we swam, you know, we didn't just bounce in the water, stand in the water. It's not swimming to me until I actually dive underwater and swim and maybe, you know, do the breaststroke or whatever else. Because there's, oh, that camera got turned again. There's nothing like being in the water with Joyce doing a breaststroke. I'm sorry. Sorry, honey, wherever you are. You are always such a problem. Well, I wanted to go back. Somebody was saying something about replacing I was trying to catch what somebody said about changing the decoders on their 111s. Yeah, I went with the base 6906 decoders because I didn't want to have to also change out the motor to have to do the sound, because you can either put in the 60906 and it'll operate the lights and any smoker unit it has, but it won't do sounds. And to do sounds, to put in a decoder that does sounds, not only do you have to find a space for the speaker, which is probably not that hard in most of these units, those KLVMs, I think it would be impossible to put a sound unit in them. But I wasn't that big on it. I do have a couple of locos. Like, I've got a 216 that I need to change out, but I'm going to change out the motor and try to learn how to do the entire motor change out and wire it with sound and speaker files. I've got the Märklin. I don't have the ESU one. I've got the Märklin decoder programmer, the version of the Märklin lock sound loader, or whatever ESU calls their decoder. You're pulling out Märklin digital units. I was offering them to anyone who wants them. Well, I'm always interested. I'm at a bad spot where Joyce and I, we just had to cancel hotel reservations, and we lost some money on that. And then we still have to book hotels to go visit our son. We're trying to work out dates now when we think the whole family will be healthy and we can all go down again. My poor daughter, Kyan's mom, my daughter Lynn, or Lindy, as you in here would know her, she feels snake bit because every time she tries to go to Columbus to visit her brother, something happens. She's had car problems, somebody gets sick, massive traffic accident that delays her by hours, and blah, blah, blah. Every time she has tried to go to Columbus to visit her brother, something happens, either directly to her and the family or that gets in the way of her trip of going to see her brother, even if she gets down there. Well, hello, Sir Alan of Buckland Junction and Sir Andy of Dobson. Great to have you guys here. $3,700 series decoders. I don't know anything about 3,700 series decoders. Oh, Leo, my wife Joyce and I just bought a few months back, several months ago, we bought a new Dodge Durango. Well, not a new Dodge Durango, new to us, but a used one. Because we needed a big vehicle. We had a Dodge Journey and it was too small to carry a lot of stuff I needed it to carry. And I really wanted to buy a Dodge Grand Caravan again. But Dodge stopped making the Grand Caravan. I think 2021 was the last year of full models. Now, if you want a Dodge Grand Caravan, you have to buy a Chrysler Town and Country. I'm still, I talk about it a few times on live streams, I'm still bitter at Chrysler and Fiat for taking away the Grand Caravan, because I won't buy a Chrysler, but I'll buy a Dodge. And people say they're the same thing. No, Dodge actually has a couple of differences. Even when you had the Town and Country and the Grand Caravan at the same time, there were small differences. Because Dodge had proprietary design things that they could only, that Chrysler, even though Chrysler owned Dodge, because of the purchase agreement 70 years ago now, 80 years ago now, Dodge is still allowed to have some personal stuff that the other companies can't use. Let's see how that one looks. So here you might be able to recognize one of the big changes. I used to have the farm there. The 3 farm buildings and all the cows and the sheep there, and they're all moved. If you didn't see the video, the cows and the sheep are right there now. And that white brick wall there, that's a temporary thing. It was just to kind of give an idea, but you can see the cows and the sheep each have their own paddocks. And so I moved all 3 of the farm buildings, and there were 3 buildings just like those 2 brick ones there. There were 3 there, plus the house that has the Alan from Dragon Junction sign on it. That obviously got moved, and that other house is over there now. I rearranged some things, but also that whole area is now grassed up. That whole area there is grassed up. You've never seen that bit of the layout? Yeah, unless I run the only ways you see it are if I do, let me see, yeah, if I do this camera, you might have seen up here when it was just those buildings, or if I did like a cab view when I'd run the GoPro. I'd attach the GoPro to a freight train, or, you know, I attach it to a train, sometimes passenger, sometimes freight, and have the GoPro going around. You would then see it. But yeah, otherwise you don't see it. The only other time you would see it is this camera. I used to have the Chris Hales Heritage sign right here. And then those houses would be over here. Oh, that Magical Mystery Tour derailed again. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, it's not Magical Mystery. Oh, they both did. What is the major malfunction between you two? This is getting really old. Oh my God, are you just that stiff? You should be able to handle the curve. There it is. Anything the train needs to know. Stop crossing them. Oh, for goodness sake, there's no reason to be doing that. Really? Just as you come around, you uncoupled it. All right, I'm just not going to run that train. I'm tired of this. Ugh. What in the fuck is your problem? There's no reason to be constantly derailing. Oh, sorry about that, people, but yeah, those Hornby cheapos are giving me fits today. Schienenersatzverkehr-Time. Rail traffic replacement time. Painting fence posts and telephone poles for a hobby or in real life? Going to be stuck on a boat from Saturday afternoon until Sunday morning. Where are you sailing from? Well, that's true. That's true of everybody. They never tell you. They usually tell you. Usually don't tell you what caused the problem. When I first started traveling by rail in Germany with my students, my partner teacher, the German side, when they'd say, due to personal issues, we have had a delay on a train ahead of us. Personal issues meant the train in front hit either a cow or a person committed suicide by rail. And to be totally insensitive, I always hate it when somebody commits suicide by jumping from a train. You're miserable in your life, so you're going to go out by making a whole bunch of other people miserable too. That's not right. You shouldn't be ending your life, and you shouldn't be ending your life screwing a whole bunch of other people that didn't know you. Yeah, Anthony's pissed. Nah, I'm frustrated, but for me to be pissed in the non-drunk way, of course, I haven't been pissed the drunk way in 41 years. But there's little signs that maybe Joyce could clue you in about when I'm really mad. Well, hello, Sir Tom of Märklin's Train. Newcastle to Amsterdam. Oh, an overnight ferry. Oh, I don't know if I could do an overnight ferry. I don't think I'm prone to seasickness. But, of course, if you put me in a small boat on a very rough sea, then I might have to change my opinion of that. But nothing... I don't want to jinx myself, but the terror I have flying, running around screaming and waving an axe is a dead giveaway. My dead giveaway is a silent stare and a clenching of fist, and then if the temper's really going, a slamming of the fist into something hard, like a floor, a table, a heavy oak door. MB Satiro 1s from RSAG and Rostock. Yeah, I might have seen those. Most cabins don't have windows. Oh, that would drive Joyce crazy. That would drive Joyce crazy. Joyce would not stay anywhere that didn't have windows. Joyce is very claustrophobic. She hates elevators. She absolutely hates elevators. I will walk the stairs with Joyce because I appreciate... Now, sometimes I'll just say, I gotta take the elevator today. But Joyce, if she can, she'll run the stairs. Now, if our hotel room's on the 9th floor, she'll usually take the elevator up. But otherwise, Joyce does not like elevators. They're windowless and they're small. And her claustrophobic side comes out heavily in that. Oh, really, Chris? You don't like elevators? I don't have a problem with elevators. Even when I know I'm inside a tall building, like the elevators going up to the top of what used to be the Sears Tower, the Willis building, whatever it's called now. Then the John Hancock building, you'd go up to the top of those buildings, you know, some of the tallest buildings in America. And I didn't have problems until I got off the elevator and realized how high up we were. Then I was like, I don't want to be here. The NS 8102 went through Toledo the other day, going to Sterling Heights, Michigan. You have pics of it. Oh, I didn't catch that. Every now and then, there's a classic steamer that goes through Toledo during the summer. This might be the same one, except this one is a steam locomotive, and we haven't seen it in a few years. But Joyce usually gets notifications of it in our neighborhood Facebook group. And so we have gone out and filmed it. I don't know where my video is of it from the last time we saw it, but we do have pictures. Heights don't bother you? Oh, heights bother me. Yeah, see, I could not do that forever, DC. That would, yeah, those exterior elevators with windows, nope, not happening. Overnight boats, so they assume you sleep by yourself or getting wasted on the whiskey tasty. You'll be passed out, you won't care. Nope. Joyce would know, and it would bother her. I'll have to ask her about that. But no, she'd need windows, which I respect. She puts up with me. She's so helpful with me with my fear of heights, and she's never been judgmental. There are times we've driven through mountains here in North America, and I will have to pull over and say, I can't go any further. And I know she's much more comfortable than me, but it doesn't mean she's comfortable doing it, but she handles it better than me. And she'll take over, and there's no judgmental, there's no sexism, bias, stuff like that. So she tolerates my issues. Good night, Mara. Take care. Actually, if you're in the UK, good evening. If you're in Australia, have a nice rest of your day. I think you're in the UK. Because there's another Mara I know who's in Australia. There's nobody on that side just yet. Let's do up the ramp for a bit. Oh, let's do Village View. We got a couple of people doing. But yeah, this is the area that's going to start getting a ton of work in the next few months. This area, which is the Dumnorst area, it's the primary area. This is going to start getting, depending on when I can start buying, I need adjustable retaining walls. Or soundproof walls, stone or brick. Actually, preferably concrete block. You know, British have those, in the UK, sometimes you have these beautiful retaining walls that are brick or stone. The part of Germany I'm modeling here, it's often just concrete wall. But I need a lot of, you're short 2 subscribers. All right, well, hey, is there anybody else that's not subscribed to Forever DC 302 that can get them up to 600 now? Anybody else near a plateau that maybe I can influence? Because the truth is, I don't have a lot of influence. Despite the number of subscribers I have, I don't have the you know, for example, Alan Wiles, I've mentioned a few times, he probably had about 2,400 subscribers a couple of years ago when he gave me a shout out and asked everybody to join and get me over 1,000. And I got 130 subscribers in a couple of days. That's a lot of empowerment. And I probably went up 200 over a 2-week period. I went from like 975 to 1,200, which is about 225 in a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. But I got like, see, funny with heights, I don't like man-made heights, but I can stand on the sides of mountains and cliffs. It doesn't, for me, Steve, that's very interesting that you distinguish it that way. That's an interesting thought. I don't have a problem with man-made or with natural. It's how close I think I am to falling. Like, for example, I've been on top of the tallest mountain in Germany, the Zugspitze, which isn't that tall. It's 10,000 feet. I've been on the top of that. And my nerves start going if I stand right next to the wall and look down. But if I back up 3-4 feet, I get a little bit of fear of heights, but I can admire all the valleys and the tall mountains. You can see these 3 mountains in Austria that are all like 3,000 feet taller than the Zugspitze. But they're so far away, the curvature of the earth makes them look below you. Like they're beneath you. I used to always tell my students it was the God view, because when you stand up there, you feel like you're on top of the world looking down on all of it, because where you're at, everything is lower. And the stuff that's actually taller is so far away, the curvature of the earth makes it look lower than you. So I can handle that, and I've done it, and I have forced myself. But boy, stand me next to a window in a tall tower, I go crazy. Stand me next to the edge without a railing, or even with a railing, where my brain can picture me slipping and my body going through the railing, then I'm in Nutsville. Oh, hello. Yeah, I'm still here. You haven't heard me since I don't ever stop talking. You should know I'm here. Yeah, Rick, there's, I also want to look and see if, like, Thingiverse has printable. And I really could go on Thingiverse and probably design it myself. Or not Thingiverse, but Tinkercad, and design it myself. But I've got a very long, gently sloping area. I need a retaining wall that gets slightly taller at a 2% incline as well. And I know I can buy, they're like $8 for a 18-inch section from Woodland Scenics, and I could just maybe zigzag cut it. But it's an investment, because I'm going to have to buy a lot of it. I know Woodland Scenics makes, who is it? Fowler. And I think Woodland Scenics gets theirs from Fowler. They make one that comes with adjustable panels where you can slide the panels. And that's exactly what I want. And so you can stack the panels as low as 1 or as high as 5. And depending on how you adjust them, it goes about 3 or 4 of these panels wide. But they're like $20 kits, and I would have to buy about 20 of those. So I'm looking at $400 in to buy it that way, which would probably be the best way to go. Oh, yeah, John Wick. Michael at Chandwell. Don't know Chandwell. But I'm not actually subscribed to a lot of channels. I'm subscribed to about 500 channels. And not all are train channels. By the way, if some of these cameras you see a tree suddenly in the way and you're like, those trees weren't there last week, my grandson Kyan was eager to help me put some more trees on this layout, and I was letting them pick where they go. So let's see, where's the one? Not that one, this one. Yeah, like, that's Kyan's tree right there, for example. He really wanted that tree right there. .3D printed roller. Yeah, I know if I go to Thingiverse, somebody's probably got it. It's just getting it where it fits the way I want it to fit. Again, the best fit is already out there. It's just expensive for me to do it. So it's like every week I'd buy one at $20 or whatever. Try to buy them on eBay. I mean, I would get them cheaper from Lipa, but I would have to keep buying a lot, and then that $30 shipping cost would kick in. Yep, that's my grandson's tree. And then he planted, where's the other one? I planted the one on the right, and he decided these two needed to go here. So I put one in the way, and then he decided two more had to go here. There's also a couple of more trees, like there's a couple of trees on the hill. I put those on, the two trees on the hill there. So I did all those trees in there. That wasn't Kyan. Where else did Kyan have me put trees? Where's the other one he really wanted? Oh, I know the one he wanted. I think the 11 lane view might show it. Kyan put these two trees here. Kyan wanted these two trees here. I put the little one here in and was going to be done, and Kai said, "Opa, put this tree where?" And he just points. He points like there, where? And I'm moving it around until I go here. And he's like, "Yeah, there." Okay. Like here? No. Where? Here? No. Here? No. Here? Yes. Okay. And it's in. It's the first time in a while he's actually come down and paid attention to the layout. He'll come down occasionally and play with these cars here, and he likes to hand shunt some of the, like right now he's into my tankers. So he's got all these tankers are out here. I don't know, well, I'll go to the big camera and you guys would see. But he's into tankers right now. So he likes to hand shunt the tankers here. So yeah, he likes to hand shunt those now and then, but it's been a long time. It has been months and months since he's asked me to run these trains. Oh, I agree, Chris. If I didn't want a tree there, I would have told him, no, don't want to put a tree there. But if on the live stream, if somebody says, "Hey, Anthony, that tree's in the way," then yeah, I might pop it out. But in reality, a lot of times when you're rail fanning, you're going to have a tree in part of the way. So, tanker cars are cool, that's why. Yeah. Yeah, he's not necessarily hung up on, there were times I would let him like, "Okay, Kyan, what train do you want Opa to run this week?" And he would point at him. I said, "Okay, well, I'll put him on the layout on Wednesday when I set up the live stream." And then on Friday, I'd say, "Kyan, I put your train up for you, just like you asked. But maybe I should start setting it up on Tuesday. He might get more interested again if I really let him pick the trains and help me set them up again." You want to get a V60. See, I need to buy 4 of the 60906 decoders. I need to buy 4 of those, at least 4, at $30 a pop. But right now, I really can't spend any of that money. And I think converting some of these analog trains I've got to digital will have to wait, because I really want to get the retaining walls in. Because once the retaining walls are in, then I start reorganizing all these buildings for Delmenhorst. I start reorganizing them in the proper roads. I've already got the brick roads bought. I've already got all the pieces of brick road, because the pedestrian zone is a gray scallop design type of stonework, a Rosetta. Maybe. I'm trying to remember which way it goes now. It's a bluish gray stone, and it's done in that wave. That's not scallop, or is it scallop? Might be a scallop form on the ground. And then the main roads leading to the train station are brick. The main concourse area is brick, and then you get to asphalt near the station. Oh, you bought 8 new couplers for your GDR cars. Okay. And it's pouring down rain where you're at again. Yeah, we've had some rain today. Joyce and I wanted to get up and play some tennis this morning, and it just wasn't going to happen. So we'll go out tomorrow instead, since we're not traveling. We'll go play tennis tomorrow. But we haven't gotten our kayak out this year. It is nearing the end of July, and Joyce and I have not been on our kayaks yet. Normally, we're out on our kayaks once a week on the river, but it's either been just way too hot. I was sick. Joyce was a little sick, and then Joyce has had appointments, or this is happening and this is happening. We just have not had the time and the energy to say, let's get the boat, get it down to the river, and let's get on the river. And I'm missing it, and I think Joyce is too. You do hand shunting yourself? Yeah, and see, the thing is, I'm not into shunting. And no judgment or problem on those who are. I'm just looking at this 12 cameras view, and my brain is suddenly going, wow, that's a lot of green. After years of going, that's a lot of brown and pink. Now it's a lot of green. So now my brain is like, okay, it's time to start adding wildflowers and add some color. I'll probably I've got bags and bags of wildflower stuff that came with model kits, building Fowler, Keebria, that. They often give you little flowers to put in the flower boxes and that, but they give you way more than you need, which, good on them. Here comes the beer wagon. It's the beer train. Francis Conner Weiss beer. That is good stuff. I love Francis Conner Weiss beer. It's my favorite Weiss beer. I like Weiss beer, but there are some that I think are not as good as others. But the Francis Conner, that's good. There's a part of me that says I need to move this camera. This is one of my cleanest, clearest, most vibrant cameras, and it's on this angle and I don't show it enough. Although this is a pretty cool angle because you do see the trains going in all directions here. Yeah, Flower Flock goes a long way. V60 Ost or West. Yeah, if it's Andre, it's going to be Ost. That's still... Joyce and I were just talking about this last night. That 35 years after the reunification of Germany, there's still some regional bias, dislike, or, friendly rivalry maybe. When we were in the shop at Rostock, and there's actually 2 shops, but the actual model train shop, oh my God, my brain is not going to remember it. I went to so many train shops, my brain can't remember them all. I remember the ones from 2023 clearly, but this year, they're all too fresh in my mind, and we went to so many this year. Let's go see if somebody typed it in before I could look it up. Come on, where is it? Modellbahnschaft. That's it. Modellbahnschaft. Modellbahnschaft. Schaft is the name. Modellbahn means model trains. So I went in there looking for Märklin, and they had a lot of TT because TT is hugely popular in Eastern Germany and into Poland. HO, I know is bigger, but TT is a very close second. Where N scale is the second most popular size pretty much everywhere else in East Germany, Poland, the Czech Republic, and that it's TT is the second most popular size. But anyhow, they had a lot of TT, Piko and Tillig TT. Then they had a lot of two-rail, both digital and analog, two-rail stock, Piko, Roco, a little bit of Brawa, some other companies. They had old stock, so they had Rova and a couple of things there. They had a used section, and in the used section, they did have a little bit of Märklin. Well, I talked to them about it. They were asking me what I was into. I said, well, I do modern era Märklin. And they go, well, there's not a lot of three-rail stuff around here. And then they did this. They go, that's those guys in the West. And they pointed to, they were clear on the direction. They had to turn a little bit of that. That's those guys over there. It's those guys in the West. They like that three-rail. You don't get a lot of three-rail here. Märklin's not big in this area. And I was like, ooh, okay. And they were beautiful people. They were lovely to talk to, chat with, good time. But boy, you talk about Märklin and that old rivalry, regional rivalry kicked in. That's those guys in the West. And they were old enough. They were 60, in their 60s like I am. So they spent a good part of their life in the old East. And some of that regional bias is still a little hard to lose. You say Piko is the best at TT? That's interesting. Tillig is good too, but expensive. Yeah, Tillig is expensive, but I know a lot of guys that say Tillig is the best at TT. So, it's always, everybody's got their thing. It's like, I know people that do three-rail, but they won't ride Märklin because Märklin has sucked since 1995, in their opinion. And they just will not buy Märklin. And I'm like, Märklin's my favorite. Roco is probably my second favorite. Piko, if I spend the money and get their collector's class, it's usually pretty good. Their hobby stuff, anytime I bought their hobby stuff, which they don't usually do in AC anyhow, so I have to convert it to AC, it tends not to be very good. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, the area was always two-rail. There was a time before the war where Märklin was the big guy everywhere. But especially after the war, you didn't have access to Märklin and three-rail, and it was cheaper to make two-rail. It's cheaper to make and sell two-rail. So you could see why in the East, all of a sudden, Märklin fell from grace. But let's face it, Märklin is such a giant. I pointed this out before, that the Swedish word for model trains is Märklin. That guy that many of you know, I can't think of his actual name right now, but his channel is called Märklin of Sweden. You would think, oh, he's a Märklin guy in Sweden. No. Märklin means model trains in the Swedish language. That's how dominant Märklin was, is that in a couple of countries, the name, it's like in America, Band-Aid or Kool-Aid. That's a brand name, but it became the name for the object. Everything else is a fruit-flavored drink, but even if it's not made by the Kool-Aid company, we call it Kool-Aid. Excuse me, I need an adhesive bandage. Nobody says that. Everybody's like, anybody got a Band-Aid? Yeah, Martin's his name. Thank you. Well, hi there, Sir Dwight of Curly. Welcome in. Roco makes awesome passenger coach. Yeah, I was shocked. I guess I did not pay attention that Roco made TT because I don't look for TT. When I look at Roco, it's always HO3 rail. I had to go back to Lipa and see that Lipa actually does sell some Roco TT size stuff. Because that's the one size Märklin. That's the one size Märklin doesn't do. I don't know that. I don't think Märklin. Märklin does HO and one scale. And then they own LGB, which does G scale, and they own Trix, which does HODC and N scale. But I don't think Märklin has any connection to TT size at all. Lilliput, yeah, Lilliput, it's a little harder to get. Although, to be honest, Roco and Märklin make great replacement wheel sets for me. Your experience may vary. Yeah, I've heard good things about Lilliput. I've got a couple of old cars from Herb that are Lilliput, and yeah, they're very nice. I don't have passenger coaches, it's just freight stuff, but they are very nice. Oh, Evermodel's flanges are fine. Roco does Bosnian type narrow gauge, but the rest is mostly BMO. Yeah. You're struggling to stay awake. All right, we'll go to bed, Artie. Hopefully tomorrow's a better day for you. I've just been busy between, like yesterday when you were pinging me, I had Cayenne and we were just busy. Now I'm just hoping Cayenne and I aren't going to get sick. All right, I've been on this camera a while. Let's change cameras. Everybody just left that, so what are we doing? Let's go to cameras. Darn it, that guy moved back again. Ugh. This camera just moves on its own. The tension on the wire rubs against the stack it's on. Is anybody else coming this way soon? Nope. All right, let's go back to 11 lane. They have German trains on Babylon, Berlin from World War I, period. I probably am done, for the most part, with Era 1. I really am a modern era guy. I've got a lot of trains from all eras now, but I am now focusing on, I need to complete my night jet set. I've got 4 cars of the night jet. I need to study some of the different types of cars and look at picking up some of Rivarossi or Lima's car sets. Nah, the former homeowner is still alive, and if he were dead, I would have to be able to prove it wasn't me who killed him. I would need hard evidence of the day he died. Because, oh my goodness, I have cursed that man's name for 32 years since I bought this house. Every time I have to do a new job of repairing something hidden in the walls and find some of the work he did when he remodeled the house in 1987 and just go, what were you thinking? This was code violation back then and you were a professional electrician. You knew this was a code violation and you did this. And then he did a bunch of his own plumbing. It's like, oh yeah, you did that totally illegally too. And the worst thing is, Joyce and I paid to have a guy do a home inspection, and there's stuff he clearly missed. And because he did the home inspection, I didn't go look at stuff. You know, I did the basic, but this guy was supposed to kind of look in the shadows. No. He probably did no more than I did and said, yeah, everything looks great. It's like, you didn't look at the scorch marks on the one side of the electrical box and wonder what caused that, and then open up inside the box. Because that was the thing. I really should have opened up every junction box in the house and looked. And seen how much illegal wiring he did. I should have opened every light socket and junction box. I might not own this home now. Well, hello. SJB, Sebastian, I believe. Sir Sebastian. And hello, Sir Digger Evans. Great to have you here. Yeah, Tom, that's some of the stuff, like, it would have been cheaper to do it properly. Like I said, this guy was an electrician. He was a certified electrician, but I wouldn't hire him to change a light bulb. But he also apparently thought he was a carpenter. Now, I over-engineer. Okay, I over-engineer. I will build things. And I will add more structure than even code requires, because my dad taught me code was always minimum requirement. Code is minimum. My dad was like, I don't do minimum. I do best. And I was kind of brought up that way. So when it comes to building, I over-engineer. But like this guy would put 6 screws where he only needed 2. And then he didn't care if he missed. If he missed, he just put 2 more screws in and left the screw he missed with sticking through the ceiling, sticking through the wall, hidden by something. And yeah, it's a nice house, but Joyce wanted it and we have it. Yeah, Yvonne, that's true. And I know so many guys in the trades that talk about that, so that they spend all day doing professional work and they're not allowed to cut corners. But when they get home, they just want to get it done fast, even if it's not right. As long as it's not going to blow up tomorrow, they'll leave it go. So to some degree, I get that. Which is why I always had a line, you know, having been an academic and a teacher for 36 years, I would be somewhere at a restaurant or out with friends or family, and somebody'd say, Anthony, you're a teacher. And I would say, I'm off the clock. I am not a teacher anymore. Being a teacher ended at X30, X45, you know, whatever, 3 o'clock, 3:30, whenever my day was done. I'm not a teacher after that. Unless somebody starts bashing teachers, then Joyce and I, we get our haunches up and start going, hey now. Yeah, and I found that interesting because when I started in the hobby, most of the guys I knew that were into model trains were people that worked in the train and grew up with trains. But now I'm meeting more and more people that, dude, I work on the railway system and I want nothing to do it. And Randall was telling me about this. Randall and I were chatting. And he was saying, Anthony, you know, most of the guys I work with, because Randall works with the train companies, he works in that industry. It's like, I talk to them, when they find out I'm into trains, they just, you know, they want nothing to do with trains after work. In fact, what I am noticing is right now, not that there's not a million different types of people into trains, but if there's one group that seems to be very dominant, it's IT people. Various people in the computer graphics, computer design, software, electrical, because the building of a layout and all the wiring in that is sort of a different thing than what they do in their job, but it's also related, where they can take elements they like about their job and apply it to their hobby. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, and so, yeah, now, my dad was an electrician by trade, but he grew up in the 30s and 40s where you did everything yourself. You fixed your own cars. You built your own houses. My dad has 3 different houses in the city of Toledo that he and his brother built. The one that, the best one being the one he and his brother built for his brother, which was the last one they built together. And it's a gorgeous house. I would have loved to have bought it. When my Aunt Frida passed away, I would have happily bid on that house and tried to get it. She lived to the age of 97. Frida was probably more responsible for my love of Germany than anybody outside my grandmother. Frida was born in Dresden, or Dresden, as you would say. Frida was born in Dresden, and she was there. She was a young teenager during World War II, and as the Russians advanced, they retreated, and eventually she and her family worked their way to Berlin. And after the war, she and her family got to the western side of Berlin, but she had female cousins and sisters that were brutalized by the Russian soldiers. She hated the Russians. My Aunt Frida, if you mentioned the Russians, she gritted her teeth. And she was such a nice, easygoing lady, but she hated the Russians. And if you know World War II history, you can imagine why. But she worked at Tempelhof Airport. She was one of the ladies that, helped clean up Berlin after the war. But she wound up working at Tempelhof Airport, and my uncle, who had been a bomber pilot during World War II, stayed in the Air Force after the war, and he did the Berlin airlift, and they met when he would fly in and unload the plane, and she was always there, and then she figured out what planes he was coming in on, and she was always there when he flew in. Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut could bring that. Frida was your mother. Yeah. This Frida, she spelled her name Frida. But she would watch me a lot as a kid. Plus, we were always at my Uncle Dale's because he lived like 2 miles from my dad's house, and we always visited Uncle Dale every week. My grandpa would come and visit us. We'd go visit Uncle Dale. So I saw Uncle Dale all the time, and Uncle Dale was a cool uncle. But he was a lot older than my dad. He was like 12 years older than 13 years, 14 years older than my dad, something like that. 14, 15 years older than my dad. So he was a second father to my dad, really. But Dale married Frida and brought the surviving members of her family all to America after the war. And so they were the biggest German speakers in my family. So it was from Frida more than anybody else that I really started picking up German, and then her siblings and her cousins that came over and were around. And she used to show me pictures of what Dresden looked like before the war, and she used to talk about how beautiful it was, and in my brain it just became this fantasy town. It became this epic fantasy town in my head that I had to go to Dresden. And when the exchange program started in 2003, I kept trying to find a way. How can I get over to Dresden? I've got to see this city. I've got to see this city. My aunt talked about it all the time. And finally in 2014, I decided instead of taking my students to the Alps or to the Rhine, I said, we're going to Dresden. Our special trip this year, we're going to Dresden. It was the only way I was going to fit it in. And was it as pretty as the pictures she showed me pre-war? Not quite, but it was still gorgeous. And the region around Dresden, the Saxon Switzerland, the Erzgebirge, the Ore Mountains, and that whole area is just absolutely gorgeous. All the way over to the Czech border and into Czechia. It's just beautiful. Hey, Sir Kieran, how are you? Yeah, there are people in the Czech Republic. To this day, the Czechs are having to learn to like the Germans because Germans come and spend money in the Czech Republic. Germans come and spend money in the Czech Republic, and the Czechs, you know, they've got a 1,000-year history of fighting with the Germans. And so the Czechs are, they're greeting them with gritted teeth, you know, and pleasant smiles. Hello, thank you for coming here, Nazi. So yeah, there is definitely that issue of there's a lot of areas when you're German. Oh, even before the Bohemian Wars, back when it was Germanic tribes and Slavonic tribes. Yeah, you would be told, try to speak English first, don't speak German. Yep. But it is changing because the German tourists come and they realize, but who was I just talking to where their anti-German attitude is still very, very strong? Well, I can't say I was talking to them. I was just watching an interview with the famous science fiction writer Harlan Ellison, who was Jewish. And, you know, before he died, he said he got asked many times, but he vowed he would never step foot in Germany. That was one place he would never go to, no matter how much money you offered him. He would never go to Germany. He hated Germany and was never going to forgive them. And I can't argue with that. Harlan and your mom hated each other. Your mom knew Harlan, or just... when it comes to Harlan Ellison, I think he's an amazing writer, but as a human being, he was a piece of garbage. He was just a hate-filled, nasty, disagreeable... I'm superior to everybody. Everybody's beneath me, blah, blah, blah. And he just was a very unfriendly person. Oh, I can understand that. But here's one of the funny things is I had friends where the aunt had the concentrations camp numbers on her arm. She was 5 years old when she went in and 8 when she came out. And she hated the Germans, and anybody spoke German upset her. But she drove a Mercedes-Benz. And when she would, and I thought I was being cheeky, and she was an old woman. I thought I was being cheeky one time when I was at the house and she was bashing the Germans again. I'm like, then why do you drive their car? I don't have a thing against the Germans, and I refuse to drive a German car. And, you know, I said, I don't have a reason to specifically hate the Germans. You do, and I won't drive. Well, they do make good automobiles. And her husband chimed in, and watches and machines. There are some allowances you have to make. I was like, and my only reason for not driving German cars is in my family, you didn't drive foreign cars and you didn't drive Fords. You didn't drive Ford, you didn't drive foreign. A Mercedes isn't German, it's Danish. No, Raymond. I've been to the Mercedes factories in Germany. Well, the Czechs will argue with that. I don't have a country where I say they have a favorite beer. 3 years ago, well, 3 years and 2 months ago, if you would have said the Italians make some good beers, I would have laughed at you and said, the Italians, they're wine, they don't know how to make good beer. And then I had a couple of Italian beers, I went, oh, these are good. There, Raymond. Now you're going to get it from two sides. But of course, you got to remember, this was 40 years ago when Mercedes, there weren't Lexus, and Audis and BMWs were only rarely known in the USA. It was before the big yuppie phase when BMWs and Audis became the rage. Getting rid of Saab was a mistake. No, it wasn't. That's right. And the only cars I care about are Dodge. If it doesn't say Dodge on it, I don't want it. You give me a free Ferrari, I'm trading it in and getting a Viper. A Dodge Viper. Yeah, Audis, I never had high respect for Audis as a kid growing up. But now they're, you know, the fun thing is the Audis versus the Beamers. The Audi people versus the BMW people. They go at each other all the time. Audi is Automobile, you know, Automobile Union, AU. And then, you know, the DI comes from more stuff. And then BMW is Bayerische Motorenwerke, Bavarian Motor Works, so it translates to BMW in both, although in German they don't say BMW, it's BMW. Your neighbor doesn't understand the Dodge thing till he bought one to me. Look, you can like or hate Dodges. It's the only car I'm ever going to drive. It's my name on a car. Not many people have that opportunity where you can drive a car that not only has your family name on it, but it is your family. Now, I have nothing to do with Dodge Corporation. Our family got out of it in the 1920s. My side of the family got out of it in the 1920s, and they sold it on to Chrysler, the Chrysler Plymouth family in the 1940s. And then that side of the family died out by 1962. So direct descendants of the Dodge, the two brothers that started the company, even though my great-grandfather helped them start it, all their direct descendants are dead, except for, well, I think she died here about 3 years ago. The woman that it was clearly, and then she's got her children, was clearly a Dodge. And that her mom was a maid to the last of the Dodge family that owned the... But the thing is, Joyce will verify it. You can't go to too many historical places in America and not see the name Dodge there. It's funny. You go to Devil's Tower, and you find out that it was Colonel Joshua Dodge who named it Devil's Tower. The Indians called it Great Bear Lodge. And that Colonel Joshua Dodge is the guy in the movie that Kevin Costner did, and now I'm forgetting the name of the movie, where he's the soldier who goes, the cavalry soldier who goes native. Actually, Evo, I might argue that point with you. Audi was originally Automobile Union, AU, and then the D and the I. That's one where I'll argue that one with you. It was Automobile Union, and then I forget what the D and the I stand for. Dances with Wolves, that's the movie. And then you got Dodge City, which is named after Grenville M. Dodge, because he was the guy, this is my train connection, Grenville was a great distant cousin. He was the brother of like my great-great-great-grandfather or something like that. You know, you gotta go way back, or no, he wasn't the brother. He was the grandson of my great-great-great-grandfather's brother, however that works out. But Grenville was Union Pacific, and he was the head of Union Pacific when they did the Golden Spike to link the country by rail. Audi is Latin to hear. Yes. And the blue and white are not the Bavarian blue and white, as many people think, but it's blue and white because blue is the sky, white is the cloud, because they originally started as airplane producers. The blue-white, and you have to say blue-white. You don't say white-blue. You have to say blue-white. Well, it looks like I finally straightened out those Beetle trains. Knock on wood. Yes, but that is just a convenience. But they did start as another company, and they were making whatever it was, and then they got in cars. No, I have not. I've not heard of EMV, or EMW, I mean. And yes, the four rings are the four groups that joined together to form it. I've never heard of EMW. Elysian Motor Works. Redefining luxury and hyper-performance and automotive innovation. Except it looks like they had to change their logo. Yes, if you go to that, they will tell you that part. But it also started as Auto Union, A-U-D-I. And it was just convenient that by adding the D-I, it also meant that Hork and Audi, which is odd. Yeah, Audi existed in the late 18... Well, I think they had a different name then. But they started in the 1890s. Early 1900s. But I think that's a legend they now promote because EMW was the East German part. Okay, I just was Googling it, and all I was getting was this new super high-tech automotive company. So, no, I'd never heard of that there was an East German version. The only East German car I know is the Trabi. That's the only East German car I know is the Trabi. The Trabant. So I don't know which way it works. Was it, because yeah, Wikipedia say the same thing, that was a play on his name, but I think they get that information off. I said I've been to Munich, I've been to the Audi thing, and the guy that was talking, the German that was talking, said Audi got its name from Auto Union, Automobile Union, and then Division or whatever, because they made many things, and the four companies came together, formed Auto Union. So it might be a case where the myth has become reality. They wanted to get rid of any connection with Trabant and Sachsenring. Yeah, I get that. Your mate rolled his Opel Manta across the best kept garden in Birmingham. Oh, that wasn't going to go over. Yes, they did, Leslie. The four companies included. Of course, they're owned by Volkswagen now anyhow, but they were originally under Horch. They were Audi, one word, Audi Werke. So maybe it started that way. But the other company was the, what was it? That helped form Auto Union was DKW, and, oh crap, I can't. There was DKW and another company was Vonder or something like that. Well, let's get to some other cameras here. Wow, one time I go there, nobody's there. Is anybody coming up the bridge? Nope, those two are going around that way, so maybe catch them that way. Hello, Sparky. Hello, Sir Dave of Sparky. Working on a couple of things. All right, well, hopefully you got our reply. Sadly, I'm a very finicky eater, so none of those three meals sounded... I mean, beef brisket would be good, but the stuff they're throwing on the beef brisket did not sound good. When I eat my meat, I just want my meat. I don't want a lot of seasoning or other things added. Just give me the meat and then let me pick the sauce I want. Yeah, well, Ford, actually GM's a very complicated mess, but yeah. But Sparky, you're listening in, so I don't want to bother you too much because you're working on stuff. But one of the events, and I'm going to have to open my Google Maps. Fortunately, I already have it open. Except I'm in Rostock, Germany right now. So I need to come down. One of the events you talked about, and again, I've got to go watch the videos when I think of it and have time. Something was occurring, I thought you said, going to St. Thomas. What is going on at St. Thomas? And what day is that? Because St. Thomas is like 2.5 hours away from us, and then Cambridge, where you're at, is 4 hours away from us, although I can probably, even with Joyce's bathroom breaks, I could probably make it in 3 hours, 45 minutes, maybe less. Just depends on how much hassle we have getting over the bridge, because that's rush hour that we'd be leaving. Opel was sold to Peugeot. Okay. Well, hello, Sir John from Train BFGR. St. Thomas is the real museum, but that's not where the train ride starts. Opel's gone through quite a few owners in the last 30, 40 years, it seems. What do I think of Oriental Red? I don't know. I don't have an opinion. I mean, there's different... Now, does the train go out and then come back to Waterloo Central? Or does the train just go from one place to another? There may be only 50 Gogomobile darts left. Leaves Waterloo and then returns. Okay. Because that might determine where Joyce and I are going to stay. Yeah, Andy, but just don't jinx me. But yeah, we have had 2 straight weeks. We are 3 hours into the live stream and I haven't dropped a frame. They gave us a new box, which I think I explained last week. We went through a lot of BS and hoops, and I don't blame the guy on the phone. He was brilliant. He was helpful. He was friendly. He was considerate. I won't say anything rough about that, but the hoops that Verizon made him jump through to make us jump through before they decided, all right, let's just give you a new box, was BS. And even then, they raised our bill $5 a month. So Waterloo is north of you. Okay, back to work. Waterloo is north of Cambridge. Okay, so I think we will stay in Cambridge. Or whatever the hotels... Well, the one hotel sold out, I believe. Okay, so that helps me make some decisions right there. Anyhow, take care, Sparky. St. Thomas is the Saturday morning, 9 a.m. start. Museum and Switch Tower tour. Okay, then from there, Waterloo Central for 2 p.m. for the train rides. And it goes to Waterloo and comes back. And then, all right, so we're going to stay in Cambridge. So it's going to be a late night and early morning. I have driven a BMW once when I was about 23 years old because a guy I knew had one and said, you want to try to drive it? Because he knew I was... And I drove it, and it drove like a car. And then I went back to my Dodge Aspen SE with the slant 6 225. Never driven. I have driven Pontiac Sunbird. My father made me buy a Ford Talladega, a 68 Ford Talladega GT Gran Torino. And, wow, I keep coming back to this camera for some reason. I need to move to a different camera, although we're going to be changing cameras completely here. Let's go to multi-view again. But otherwise, yeah, I've driven nothing but Dodges. And I've owned everything. I shouldn't say owned everything. Almost everything I've owned's been a Dodge. My very first car was a Ford Talladega. My dad made me buy it off of a neighbor. I didn't want to, but my dad made me. If you expect me to pay for insurance, you're going to get this car. And then... I did buy a Chrysler Eagle Premier as a second car. And that was actually a nice car. I got over it not being a Dodge by going, well, it's still Chrysler, and it was a second car. We still had a Dodge Shadow, but a second car. Well, hello, Dirk from Chesty Trains. I'm glad you could join. It's nice to have you here. But speaking of nice to have here, somebody, you'll have to excuse me for saying it, Dirk, somebody I'm even more happy to have here is here. Have a microphone for you. That was my Russian-Scottish mix. Yeah. And then you need a camera twisted on you since you're wearing your Edinburgh shirt. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that Joyce was doing opening post segments for each of the vacation videos, and she wore everything but a shirt that went with the trip.
I don't have that many. So hi, everybody. Hello, Andre. Hi there, Dirk. Hi, Valley. This is a Chris, right?
Yep.
Hi there, Leslie. Hi, Lee. Hi, Andy.
Oh, you got
hi, Greg.
Mark IIF
Hi,
coaches
Raymond.
and Virgin livery.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, well, congrats, because
Hello,
those are nice.
Dino.
I do like those. Well, the couple of Beetle wagons were being obnoxious down there, but otherwise,
they're not supposed
everybody's
to.
been running very happily and smoothly.
Hey, Tom.
Knock on wood.
No, not back. Not back yet. I have almost a month.
Yep.
For some reason, we're going in about a week later than normal.
she goes in the weekend of the get together up by Sparky.
That's right. Hi, Andrew. Hello, Jean. Just kept getting caffeine from his headache.
Or what we've all been waiting for. Not necessarily true.
Oh, the smart cars. Whew. Hi, Jackie. I hope you are well. What's going on?
Hey, you guys are going
We have
back.
like
Yeah, you
50
guys are going
different
back.
temperatures around
Oh,
here.
I don't know. Yeah, a week later than normally. Normally we go
Yeah.
back. See, I'm still when we talk about
Right.
it. Normally, our schools would go back middle of
I
August,
say we
but
report
this year they're going back the
21st, I think.
yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So she has a teacher work day Friday, the Friday of the
That's right, you
that
could.
Sparky's get together starts. So she's not going to be home till 5:30 anyhow. So
The
we can't really
1990
attend any of the Friday
Renault
get-togethers.
Clio.
So we're going to drive down Friday, and it looks like we're going to stay in Cambridge.
The first question is, do I know what a 1990 Renault Clio is? A small car, I would assume. Lynn says, Kyan, I hear Oma.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
time
All
to
right,
say hi
everybody,
to
plug your
Grandma.
ears.
So hi, Randall.
Plug your ears. We got to do
They've been singing.
again.
Again, okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
All right, here we go. Kyan! Opa loves you. Hey,
I hope
Kyan!
everybody's well still.
Hope two of the three of you, wish you were all well,
Well,
but
Chris said he was feeling better, so that's a step in the
he's
right
feeling
direction.
better, but yeah, I'll see how soon.
Yep. Well, he's had a few days in, so. Anyway, yeah, we love you guys.
But going back, yeah, Andre, Joyce is a brilliant woman who knows a lot of things about a lot of things, but cars, especially, well, to be honest, outside of Dodge, is there a car company you feel you know? I mean, other than famous cars like a Corvette. Like, if you spotted it, you'd know what it is.
So 1990.
She's going to look it up
I am
now.
going to look it up now, but I forgot what it was. Is it Renault?
Now, I don't squeeze into small. I have squeezed into small American cars, but that's why I drive big American cars. I've squeezed into small foreign cars.
Renault Clio.
You'd have to put two smart cars together for me to fit in. Yes, they did. Well, hello, Dominique. Wie geht's, wie steht's?
For sale.
What's it look like? I don't even know what it... Actually, I've seen Clios over there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a Renault.
it's a hatchback. So, it's all right car.
Eh.
If you like little hatchback foreign
Oh,
cars.
update your...
Yeah, all right. Well, I was looking
yeah,
at
you're going through...
see what it was. Well, yeah, Indy you would.
A Greek Knight Rider parody film. No, I did not know that.
We're dumb cars.
And immediately three
Okay.
Greek Knight Rider jokes came to my mind, and I can't say any of them.
Fowler did a model of the smart showroom tower. Okay.
You found the smart quite roomy. You just want to be a contrarian today, Leslie.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, I got into your little Suzuki Swift. I got into my Dodge Dart, which was listed as a compact car, but it actually had more
Yeah, I love
sitting room in
it.
it than all your Japanese mid-size cars.
Yeah, we squeezed into that.
I love the Dodge Dart. It was the people in the back seats that made us scale up.
Yeah, it was. And both kids at home and
We
decided,
had two kids.
yeah,
We had
better
two
get a
kids
bigger
at
car.
home at the time, and if we were
Wasn't
going to
fun when we
movies,
drove.
they'd squeeze into the back seats.
Yeah. Well, Chevy Impala. That was the first car
Chevy
I
Impala.
drove. Was a 70-something Chevy Impala.
Yeah, your dad drove a
I
Chevy
took-
Impala. Yep.
I took my driver's test in it. It was horrible because it's so big. She had a Clio until 14. Gotcha. You could
I
get
couldn't
it.
move, but I could get in it.
That's something.
No, it wouldn't have been a Swift because Suzuki and Dodge have nothing to do with each
Yeah,
other.
they don't have anything
Dodge
to do
and
with each other.
Mitsubishi. Dodge owned Mitsubishi for a long time.
It's a Dr. Pepper
Zero.
with 0 sugar. I've been fighting a headache all day, so I'm going for caffeine.
Dodge owned Mitsubishi for many years, and then
Tried to
Chrysler decided to sell off. But Dodge owned Mitsubishi. It wasn't a partnership. Dodge owned it. Even though Mitsubishi was making more money than Dodge probably, especially overseas. But Chrysler sold it, and when cut it off and made it go independent. And before Mitsubishi and after Mitsubishi went independent, they hacked the Dodge car designs and stole a bunch of Dodge car designs, which led to an international lawsuit, which Dodge did win. Dodge did win the lawsuit, but they didn't get anything out of it.
No, it's not squash. Squash is just orange, isn't it?
They
Does it come in
used the
different
red
flavors?
Corvette. Well, they probably used what they could get
That's a
their hands
question
on.
for you, Sean. Does squash come in different
Oh, the
colors
Geo Metros.
besides,
Yeah, the Geo Metros.
besides orange?
Thinking of Geo was supposedly owned by. No, they started as independent, but I thought GM got their hands on. But
I
Suzuki
was
might have
gonna
been a
say
part of
Ford,
that
but
too.
alright. Yeah, I don't know, Adam. Oh, look at all your fake trains.
What?
So look at all your fake trains.
All my fake trains.
You're zooming well.
Fake trains.
A 3-cylinder. A 3-cylinder?
Yes, it was.
Oh,
The Geo Metro was a 3-cylinder.
wow. We took a. Oh gosh, which one was it? It was between the Funky Charger and the Dart, I think.
Well, we had the Shadow.
Yeah, it was a Shadow.
Shadow was 4.
4.
No, the Shadow was 6-cylinder.
No, the Shadow was 4. Because we took the Shadow in the mountains and it did not do well. You can Google
I thought we
that.
had the 6-cylinder.
No, God, I hope we didn't have the 6-cylinder. I swore I'd never take a 4-cylinder on the mountains again. And then
But yeah, we went down to West Virginia with the Dart.
maybe it was 6.
Or with the.
And I wasn't gonna take a 6-cylinder again. And the Dart,
No, it was the Shadow we owned was a 4-cylinder. You're right.
because the
You were
Dart
right.
was a 4-cylinder, right?
My memory's getting to me. I'm wrong about a lot of things today.
Was the Dart? The Dart was the same.
The Dart was a 4-cylinder, but it had
But
the new.
boy, did it have.
It had.
Hi, Kieran.
It had the cojones.
Yeah, it handled the mountains just fine, so it was fun to drive.
Hello, man. Hey, man.
Hey, man. Kieran's leaving, so bye, Kieran.
You be
Bye
jamming.
and bye.
All right, I'll have to watch that later if I remember, Dominic.
Okay. Oh, we just watched your video in Scotland, right, Leslie?
Who? Yeah, Leslie.
Oh, you were in a really, really pretty area. He was enjoying your
The scenery.
scenery. Yeah. It's probably a fuel-injected engine.
The actually the
Shadow was.
the Shadow was fuel injected and the Dart was fuel injected,
Yeah,
but the
okay.
Shadow had no.
Oh,
It was a mid-sized car. It was a mid-sized car,
We had
and it had no.
we had trucks
horsepower.
passing us going up mountains. You know, hills.
You always think of Fletch getting into trust.
Okay.
Oldsmobile.
Well, I thought it was, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I know, oh, where's Leslie now? Actually, I asked who it was first. I said, where is he? I go, oh, it's pretty.
Well, that's what I said. I asked you. I said that's actually not far from where we're planning to go
Yeah.
with going to
That
Inverness.
could be a do then, yeah.
That was pretty. That was a pretty area. So yeah, that would be a train ride I think you would like for the scenery.
Yeah. Yep.
So like I said, Leslie, thank you for giving us something else to do while we're up in Inverness.
Yeah, definitely. The heritage train up there. It was, wasn't
Why
it?
not?
It's a steam, I thought. Looked like a steam.
As long as people understand that our trips are not, our vacations are not about trains. We will ride a train.
These four are riding around.
Yeah, they really are.
Isn't that weird?
Did you bump into something?
No, they're just freckles.
You got 4 freckles in a row. We're gonna play connect the dots.
We really could. Be a straight line. Yeah, we got a.
Well, it only went out today.
with
My
two,
video
Oh,
I put
it
out
makes-
yesterday didn't get a lot of
It
views.
makes sense, Efo. It's just, you know, it's better for the environment.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of
That's
the.
okay, Lee. It's just nice you're here. You know, as long as they can get a moving
Yeah, I
and
haven't
challenging
driven
terrain, that's fine.
The last carburetor car I drove.
Oh, you put your beer cars with the.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
that
so
makes
it's
a lot of sense.
Yeah, totally fictional.
Football and beer.
Yeah, I wasn't even going there. A good one.
Okay.
Football and beer go together. Nice train. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. What I should do is find a company to see if anybody ever made cars for all the different teams in the Bundesliga. Of course, year by year that changes because certain
Yeah.
teams get
Demoted.
elevated and other teams get relegated. Promoted and relegated. I think it's promotion and relegation is what they call it. You
Well-
decide to get the larger engine. Yeah, my Charger has a 5.7 liter engine in it, and it's 8 cylinders, but it cuts down to 4 when it's in cruising mode,
Right.
just to get better gas mileage.
It's a gas guzzler. At some point it'll.
It's a gas guzzler. We're somewhat ashamed that we went from a
that's
4-cylinder
fine.
high efficiency car, and then got a big American gas guzzler, but then we drive it and we go, to hell with it.
Well, yeah, it sure got a lot of pickup.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we can
it
get out of
moves
trouble.
well,
We
yeah.
can get into and out of trouble real fast
Really
on
quickly,
it.
yeah. And there's still joy. I really figure it's our last. Well, that and the other one is our last gas cars.
You really still think we'll go electric with the next one?
Hybrid, if possible.
Hybrid, yeah. Well, I'm looking at that new Charger hybrid,
I know.
and you know
I
the
think we'd
one,
have
the
to
one,
trade in both
the
cars
one
to try to
dealer.
afford it.
Oh yeah, we can't afford a new car.
Okay, is that your latest video, Mons?
Now you gotta say Mons
Mon.
is just possessive because it's Monsville,
Right.
but it's Mon. Hey Mon,
Oh,
you be jamming Mon.
yeah. Your electric Mini. That's good. If I hear that you could actually get more power in an electric car than a gasoline power, but I have yet, I think, to see that to believe it.
Yep, I watched that one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we watched that. I don't know. You watched it. I kind of watched it.
Hey Mon, hey Tom.
Anyway, anyway, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button.
Hybrids are nice if the drivetrain is designed correctly. Yeah, Dodge has got
I
a very
believe
gorgeous new hybrid out. Actually, they got 2 different hybrids out. The Charger is electric. Is it all electric or is it hybrid?
I
And
thought
then
the Char-
the Hornet
I
you can
thought
get gas,
the-
hybrid, or all
I thought the
electric.
Charger we looked at was a hybrid.
Yeah,
And it was the cost of a small house.
yeah, it was.
Just insane. I don't know how anybody's buying a new car right now.
Yeah,
They
it
are
was
so expensive.
$84,000, something like that.
Oh, our cars are 2010s also. We've got 13 and...
Yeah, we never buy new cars. The Dart is the only new car I have bought.
Hours to buy one new for fun. We got a good
The
deal on
only
it.
car I ever bought that wasn't used was our Dodge Dart. That's the yeah.
When did we get... What year is the Durango?
The Durango is a 2019,
Okay, so
and
we're
it
still in the
had
teens.
97,000 miles on it when we got it.
Yeah, that's the most we've ever had. Have we flipped it yet? Okay.
Yeah, well, that's why we didn't buy a Dodge right away. But I don't care if Toyota makes the best of anything. I'm not going to drive a Toyota.
Yeah, sorry, it's just a Dodge thing.
It's a Dodge thing. It's a Dodge thing. You wouldn't understand. But I'm not buying. I rarely buy first generation of a car anyhow. I give it a couple of years to see how it's doing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
The Dart is the only one I bought first
Yeah, the
year.
Dart was the exception with a lot of things. But
Yeah.
we really did like that car.
And it was a great car. But even though we bought first generation, it had actually been out
I believe
on the
that
private
this-
market. The Dart had been out in the private market, and they were already using it in the mini versions of different race circuits. You know, the compact version of NASCAR, as well as over in Europe, and it was winning and it was doing well. And the automotive magazines, the international automotive magazines, which normally trash American cars, were singing the praises of the Dodge Dart. And I was like, we're getting one.
Yeah, we used to drive our cars to absolute death. Problem is, though, we don't put a lot of miles on our cars anymore. You know, I walk to work. When Anthony was driving, he was doing 10 kilometers a day, and that was it. And it just, we just don't put a lot of distance on our cars. And so now they're starting to rust out before the engine goes.
That's why we figured we could drive a high mileage, big engine car like our Dodge Durango. We
Right.
bought it at 97,000 miles on it, you know, about 155,000 kilometers.
Right.
We figured we could get away with it because
We're not going to drive it real far.
We're not gonna drive it
a
that
lot,
often.
and- now, Cayenne's car seat's in it, so it does have a somewhat regular. It gets driven somewhat regularly, not far again.
well,
Because
even-
again, that's not very far
we
to
went
go
to the
pick
zoo,
them
but
up.
when I would go pick them up from daycare,
The zoo is only 2 miles
Yeah.
away. I mean, it's just there's not.
yeah,
a,
Ohio is tough on
It
cars.
is, Russ. It is tough. Now we do keep our cars in a garage, so that helps. But anytime you take it out on the road in the winter, the garage doesn't matter.
But yeah, I mean, Dodge is late to the hybrid. Chrysler is late to the hybrid market. We've been screaming for years that Dodge needs to get
Dodge
going
is
on it,
always
and they
late
didn't.
to everything. That is one of our complaints. Is
'Cause-
they are late to get on whatever the thing is. They were still making muscle cars in the 70s when everybody went to minis.
Well, no, they killed the muscle cars fairly quickly. But they had nothing to back it up
Yeah,
because
I think
Dodge
that
has
was-
always been about horsepower.
Yeah,
That's why Dodge holds the record for horsepowers
yeah,
for various levels of cars.
yeah.
Dodge has always been about horsepower first and didn't care about gas. That's why Dodge took a massive hit and almost went defunct because Dodge was producing all those big, high-powered gas guzzlers. The Charger, the Polara, the Monaco. What was the Dodge version of the Fifth Avenue at one time? There was the Chrysler Fifth Avenue and the Dodge, whatever Sterling. I can't remember it now. The Dodge Diplomat That came a little bit later, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you, Andre. You always question how they're doing it.
Yeah, but
Yeah, if you haven't been to a dealership lately, look them up.
if
Wow,
we were to
is
go
that
down to
expensive.
one car, which we have discussed doing, we have discussed going down to one car.
Oh, yuck, Randall.
The problem is, I always feel like I need a truck, but I don't want to drive a truck as a regular car. My Durango works that if I have to go pick something
Gotcha,
up or
Steve.
go get a bunch of wood or a
And
bunch of
we
things I'm building, because like
Are
I'll
not
be.
pickup drivers.
All right, good night, Senator Bonnie. Thanks for hanging out with us. But yeah, we have the well, when everybody was starting to go with the high gas, the better gas mileage, the better MPG mile per gallon cars, Dodge dragged their feet on it. And then when they finally went to it, the Dart, it blew everybody's socks off. It was an amazing car.
Wow,
but
that's crazy to think about.
Fiat put a ridiculous demand that they gave the Dodge 5 years, and at the end of 5 years, if the Dart had not gotten, what was it?
That's good.
7% of the market? Was it Fiat said they had to get 7% of the market, or they were going to cancel it?
That. I thought they wanted like 15%.
No, it was 7%. They wanted 7%, and after 5 years, they were at 5%, and so
They canceled it.
Fiat kept it going 2 more years and then canceled it because sales had leveled off. It was making a profit. It was a popular car, but they stopped promoting it after 4 years. And they basically were looking to kill it after 5 years and it's like, how can you expect a brand like Dodge, which is a relatively
Hi,
small
Jeff.
brand, how can you expect a brand like Dodge to corner 7% of the market that is dominated by really the Japanese in the United States?
Yeah.
There's no way you could have expected to get 7% in 5
Right.
years, no matter how good a car it was. And it was great. It got rave reviews by all the automotive magazines.
It's a lot of fun to fill out the flower.
In fact, within 2 years of it being released, you could start noticing that Honda, Hyundai, and Toyota started changing their compact cars and were copying some of the things Dodge was putting into theirs. You could see that influence, that Dodge actually had an influence on some of the designs there.
Say hi to Jeff.
Well, hi, Jeff. Welcome in.
Yeah, what did they do to him?
It's Stellantis, Citroen, Peugeot, Volvo, Opel, Fiat in Europe. Yeah, but
All right, Andre, thanks for coming
it's
in.
still Fiat Chrysler is the corporate name here in America. Fiat Chrysler.
Andre's leaving.
Well, hello, Steve from Worthington.
Andre's leaving.
Andre's leaving. All right, Andre, I'll be the same. Tschüss. Take care.
Yeah,
And Dominic, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
watch it right now while I'm on. I'll have to watch it later.
Yeah, we're not going to watch it right now. We're trying to run this live feed.
I'm hosting a live stream. I can't watch a video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not have been a good move. That would not have been a good move to have a black Mercedes and then have the letters SS on it. Not smart at all.
Oh, golly, no.
All right, good night, Leslie. No, I did not. I saw you posted videos, but I have not caught up with all videos
All right,
today.
Leslie, take care of yourself. Thanks for giving us something to do when we're up in Scotland. Jay, did you see
Yeah.
his latest project in his layout? It's not what we watched last night, was it?
No,
Okay.
that was this morning, and I was starting to watch it when I got called.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. The vehicle's hauled off and scrapped. Okay. I'm sure they have insurance on them. They didn't lose any money. Dang, but it feels so personal.
You'll be on later. Well, if I'm on YouTube later, I'll try to check in.
Yeah. See what we're doing.
But, you know, I do this live stream, and then I take a break from YouTube, and then as time allows, because we do dinner after the live stream, and then sometimes we have running to do on Friday. Actually, today we should be ending now and getting in our car and driving to our son, but that trip got canceled.
You're still back. Chesty.
Guten Tag.
Yes,
In
yes.
the
Good night.
Ich hab noch kein paar
Germany, I
Stunden.
still have a
A
few
couple
hours. Yep. Watch his wheels, a brand new VW fly across
Overhead
the
lines
highway.
of the train.
Yep. Yikes.
That's weird to say, Jeff, because I try very hard to never make suggestions, because I don't like to suggest what somebody else should do on their layout, because I have a hard enough time figuring out what to do on my layout.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, just do what you do.
oh, next week Thursday you're back in
Oh,
Germany.
good for you.
Is that work related or vacation related?
I guess we don't care while you're there. We're just jealous.
Yeah. Even though I just spent a month in Denmark and Germany, I'm jealous the minute
There we
somebody else
are.
gets to go.
Oh, vacay. Oh,
even
that's
better.
even better. Where are you headed?
Bonsoir, Titi Ari.
Hello,
Comment ça
Titi
va?
Henri, bonsoir.
Bonsoir. You're saying he
Bonjour.
made a good upside down E?
Oh, bonjour. Bonsoir.
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 Like SWAT without the T.
Bonsoir.
Like SWAT without the T.
Right. All right.
Like SWAT without the T.
Okay, Cologne, Aachen, Dusseldorf, Dortmund, and possibly Berlin.
Well,
Nice.
Cologne, I know very well.
Yeah,
Aachen, I was
we've
finally
been in
been
Aachen.
through. I have been through Dusseldorf
We've
a
never
dozen times,
stopped.
but I've never stopped in Dusseldorf.
Same with Dortmund.
And same with
I don't
Dortmund.
think we've stopped there. And
Oh,
we've
we've
been in
stopped
Berlin
it.
many
We've
times.
been on trains that have stopped in Dusseldorf and Dortmund.
Yes, but we haven't gotten out.
No, check that. We've been to Dortmund.
I'll believe you. Bonjour.
Wait,
Bonjour.
yeah, Dortmund is where Modell Bahnhof Lippe is.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Or
we
am I
have that.
screwing that up? Well, someday I will actually go to Dusseldorf. One of these days, we'll do the Ruhr Valley. Unfortunately, right now, as it stands, unless we do 2 trips in 1 year, my next trip to Germany is 2028. I'm debating pushing everything back and doing another trip to Germany.
New Zealand, correct? As opposed to Australia.
Bonjour, it's 7:30 tomorrow here. Well, bonjour can it's like guten Tag in German. You pretty much use it any time of day.
Yeah. We're keeping an eye on the potential Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern merger.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, jeez.
Byron is the best beer. See, everybody will argue. I don't get
for
into.
sure. Yeah.
There's great beers everywhere.
Okay,
I've
in
had
Australia,
absolutely
thank
awful
you.
beers in Bavaria, and I've had great beers in Bavaria. I've had
This is
awful beers.
true.
I've had awful beers in the Czech Republic. I've had great beers in the Czech Republic.
Oh, we've gone through Amsterdam many times.
Yeah, Amsterdam's another one. We've been through it many times, just never stopped.
Oh, we ran into a lady at the grocery store with a Salzburg shirt on.
Oh,
We chatted for quite some time.
oh, did you? Yep.
She says if you want to go to the Anne Frank house, you must get your tickets ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it goes fast.
Yep.
Very fast.
Oh, you have to book way ahead of time, yes. Your wife's from Munich.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I remember you mentioning that.
Oh, your family's from Holland. Cool. And your wife's from München. Okay.
I love Germany. I haven't been to a part of Germany that I've looked at and gone, I wish I hadn't come here.
That's true. We really haven't.
But to be honest, I haven't gone on a trip.
All right, Efo. Take care.
All right, take care, Efo.
Try leaving earlier.
See, this is the problem. I've only got so much time in my life, and I've got all these places. Like, we're going to the UK next year. That's the next trip is the
Right.
UK.
Yeah.
because we've been saying we're going to the UK in 2026. And then we've been saying Australia in 2027.
Oh, sure, Jeff.
But I have a temptation to put
Although
Australia
Anthony's is
off and do
authentic
another
German,
trip into
too.
Germany.
He's a runner from Germany.
To do another trip into Germany. But we still want to go, like, one of these days we're going to have, one of these years we're going to have to do a trip where, like, let's just hit the Western European capitals and do Amsterdam, Paris, and maybe even go.
You could do a boat tour doing that.
I don't want to do a
Yeah,
one
it's
of those.
fine. You don't have to.
It's much cheaper to do it by train.
Yeah.
Pick where we want to stay. But yeah, we want
That's
to go
fine,
to
yeah.
Amsterdam, Brussels, Paris, or Antwerp, Paris. And then I don't know, maybe we say to hell with it and we go down to, somewhere, the Amalfi Coast in Italy or something like that.
Aloha.
But yeah, Joyce has got Hawaii and,
Australia. It's in 27.
yeah, but I'm
And then we can just German it the rest of the
it'll
time.
it'll piss Artie off. Artie went to bed, but it pissed Artie
Yeah.
off. But I am thinking of pushing Australia back to 2028
Why?
and doing a second trip back into Germany in 2027
Oh, gosh.
because I've got places.
That's when
I
I
keep
have my
looking ahead
extra
to the
money
years.
done.
I keep putting ahead. Well, that's true. That would be your. Well, if you retire that year,
Yeah.
you could change your mind in December and decide you're going after this year
I could.
because.
I have all the way up to March to decide.
Yeah, but I still don't think you get the bonus,
Yeah, you do.
the
Yeah,
early
it has to be
announcement bonus.
turned in. No, there were 2 teachers that decided last year in March and put their
Yeah.
retirement in.
I know a couple of teachers who did that. I actually talked one teacher into retiring. I didn't intend to, but I
Right.
did.
Well, that's again. They said you could retire at 33 years, and she talked to her financial advisor and went for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I already
gosh.
know where your financial situation is. Yeah, you could retire tomorrow.
I don't want to retire tomorrow.
I know you don't want to. I'm just saying you could.
Huh.
The alligator or the crocodile?
Yeah, that's what it's. Why I'm thinking that was
Because
weird.
Swiss,
Crocodile.
Austria, and Germany have a famous locomotive, the crocodile, which I know absolutely nothing about other than what it looks like, and it's extremely popular. And it's a workhorse.
We'll try to point it out when you do a live. Okay. Well, Greg, I understand. Yeah, I'm just.
You're going to Kona in February. Okay.
Kona.
All right, SJB Media, thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great night.
Night, SJV.
G-scale crocodile.
Wow.
Yeah, the people that
That would
love
be
the
big.
crocodiles love them.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm,
I think I've
I'm
heard
in the
that.
minority.
All right, Jeff.
They're workhorses. They are one of the. It's like if you're into German trains or Germanic trains, the crocodile is one of the locomotives you have to have. But I will never buy a crocodile.
Right.
'Cause
Right.
I think they're ugly.
Yeah, and so I could
They're
retire
not modern and they're ugly.
next year and get my full benefits. If I go to year 35, I have a little bit more take-home pay with full benefits, and 1 more year on insurance and practical reasons. I got 2 more years in me.
All right, take care, Jackie.
Take care, Jackie. And I'm sure hoping we have you're the rule of 90.
We just.
Is that a combination of age and years served? Because I know I've heard of that before. Yeah, okay.
Combination of
Yeah.
age and years work.
So,
No, we have staggered.
I would have 90 next year. No. I have 90. I have over 90 now. I'm on year 34.
You're on year 34,
Yeah.
and you are
59. So.
59. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you're at.
Yeah, so I'm over 90.
Yeah, our retirement and the way they do retirement is staggered. So you can technically leave at 30, but you get a very reduced
You could
retirement.
retire at any time, but it reduces the amount of money you get for your
It
retirement.
drastically reduces.
By a lot.
Well, no, you can't, because if you remember, what was his name? McConnell? Not McConnell. That's Dean and Deb.
Right.
McConnell, science teacher at Bowser. He quit. He was just fed up with everything.
Yeah.
The lack of support from administration, and things were getting bad. They were talking about. He quit at 25 and moved into the private sector.
Yeah.
And he did not get to retire. He quit, and that money he can't claim until.
Oh wow! Until he hits a certain age. Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So you
IRAs.
can't.
Wow.
So I think, unless
Okay.
it's medical, you can't retire before 30.
Gotcha.
You get your retirement money, but you don't get it for years later.
Hmm.
But yeah, you can retire beginning at 30. But every year you stay,
Gotcha, Mons.
you get a
So you're
slight.
just 3 years younger than I am.
You get every year you stay, you get a slightly higher percentage. The way they figure your retirement pay is you get a percentage of your 3 highest consecutive years.
Oh, 5.
Oh, I thought they reduced it to 3.
No, it's always been 3. They made it 5.
Well, they changed something else that was to our benefit, though.
That wasn't to our benefit.
It was your 5. It's your 5 highest years. I thought it was 5, and they reduced it to 3.
No, 3 went to 5.
Whatever it was, it's one of the reasons I stayed longer was because it then gave me. No, it was 3 because one of the reasons I stayed was I would get the 3 years on that higher, and it would jack up my. Because I would suddenly my 3 highest years were all in the new contract. But apparently I've just been wrong all day. So, but however they averaged it out. So like if you at 30 years you get 70% of that.
Gotcha.
At 31 years, you get 72%.
That would be one more year.
At 32 years, you get 74%. And then at 35 years, it starts going up at 0.5%. It's like I went out at 36 years. 35 years, it was 77.5%. And at 36, it was 78.5%. And so I was in the middle, however they figured it out. I get 78%. The funny thing is, though, is because they're not deducting retirement out of my pay, which was 15% of my pay, 14% of my pay, whatever. I really only took about
Yeah, it sure is.
And certain other things they no longer deduct from my pay. I'm actually making over 90% of my take-home pay in retirement.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, he's not paying a lot of this and that, some taxes and then other things that teachers pay. That it really helps. So.
But we lived in we're one of the few places
I'm
where
with you, John. I understand that.
where the teachers unions are strong enough, and until our state government just seized control of the teachers' retirement pension, it was solvent. It was very solvent, and then the state weakened the controls, and they started investing our retirement money into bad deals, and they lost money. And that's when all of a sudden they went from, you guys now have to go 35 years instead of 30. You now have to go 35 years to retire. And then they grandfathered some teachers in. So some teachers could go at 33 or 32. And a lot of them did because they just feared there's going to be more hanky-panky.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of crap going on, that's for sure. Just with our people who manage our retirement money is messed up, but
Well, that was sort of my attitude, John.
that's pretty rough, Leo.
I am totally
Yeah, they are.
acknowledging that I am lucky to be able to do what I do. And if you went back in time and tried to talk to the 17-year-old me, he would never believe that I could have retired at the age I retired and get to travel to Europe each summer for a few weeks. And even the 25-year-old me as a starting teacher, we were told if you
that's
put 30
something
years in, you would retire, and then you
Right.
could spend still some of your younger years traveling and doing that. Well, it did. It paid off. We didn't have a lot of money when we started as teachers, It was very low pay, and we lived on one teacher's salary for several years. And then Joyce got her degree and started teaching. And then things got better. And then the entire American economy crashed, and we lost money, and we took massive pay cuts. And that's why I agree with John here, is if and when you can retire, go. If it is financially feasible, go. And unfortunately, too many people in the Western world now, Americans, UK, they can't retire. And it sucks. And some people don't retire, like Chris here, he's talking about, because you love your job. I retired while I still love my job, but it was getting harder. And there was just so much stuff on the horizon I didn't want to deal with. Once I closed the door and started teaching, I usually loved what I was doing, but even that was getting harder because certain things were changing. Students were, fighting the cell phones and the texting and the filming in class or getting recorded.
Travel overrated? What? I don't think so. You do know the state of Ohio has passed a no cell phone in school bill.
Yeah. And how many parents are going to actually let us enforce that?
We're collecting phones as they come in.
Well, we'll see how that goes.
Yep. And you've got it is. You've got I'm lucky I'm at a better school. Really the best school in our district.
Well, that's where I have that luxury, Mon, is I am retired, so I don't have the work stress. People say, do you miss teaching? It's like, no. If I don't miss anything from teaching, but if you force me to say what is something that was kind of cool, I missed the relationship I built with my students, especially when I had the exchange program, and I could see the excitement over a school year or two school years as these kids were counting down, like, next year I get to go, next year I'm in the program, next year I'm going to Germany, and then taking them to Germany and watching their eyes widen and their minds grow. But because I taught foreign language the last half of my career, I had students for 4 consecutive years in many cases. Now, really by the end, I was lucky if I had them 3 years in a row. But still, even having kids 2 to 3 years in a row was a very fun luxury because you really, really got to know the kids. When I taught English, I taught the kid once. When I taught history, I taught the kid once and never saw them again other than the kids that came back and said, hey, I loved your class.
That's for sure. I would, as much as I love to travel, I know I would hate to have to travel,
hello, Sir Todd of Armstrong.
Hi, Todd. That would be dreadful, flying a lot, twice a week or whatever, weeks on end.
I think we've both been crazy if we had traveling jobs.
Yeah.
Because like Steve 87 PSAP travels for his job.
That's right.
He gets to go around the world and enjoy a lot of these things while he's traveling.
It's cool, but it's exhausting, and you get sick of the airport world fast.
Yeah, and you and I, let's admit it, we are joined at the hip. We're too needy. We don't like being separated.
And that's what I say. You guys haven't traveled with Anthony. He is a fantastic...
Anthony rarely bitches.
No, but you plan things
No,
very
somebody's
well.
saying, what's Anthony bitching about today?
Okay.
Like, even being a truck driver, I would be apart too often.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem.
Yeah, that's cool, Leo.
We lived with Artie, we've lived with Jean on our travels, and we're a twosome. Yeah, we don't like being separated, and it's just...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you plan trips well. You have all kinds of things for us to do, and choices, and...
Oh, I'm not offended. I'm just saying
it works really well.
Not...
Oh, no worries at all.
Yeah, no worries.
He could be bitching about something.
I get more... I rant occasionally, but... I usually plan extensively when we do our traveling because I got to make sure somebody is occupied.
That's right.
I gotta make sure somebody isn't bored.
Somebody's a wee bit restless. And, you know, I'm really not that hard, I don't think. I mean, if we can walk around the city, we'd be fine.
Yeah. You can just get Joyce out and moving, she's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she does have a sense of, for example, I would like to go back to Berlin. And if I put it on the list, Joyce would do it. But if we went to Berlin, there'd be a lot of Joyce. We've been here.
Been here, seen this, done this.
Been here, seen that, done that.
Just talking about how much it's changed, you know.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing. Look how it's changed since we were last there, because we haven't been in Berlin since 20.
Yeah, it is.
20.
People doing
16,
peopling is hard. Being around a lot of people.
Yeah, we haven't been in Berlin since
It's
2016, so yeah. Well, that was the thing going back to Koblenz. The first time we'd been Koblenz since 2015, and how different it was.
Right.
A lot of things were the same, but
Well, yeah, but of course we were in a different area, and we went and saw things that we would never go see with the kids. So, and not because we couldn't, just that we didn't. We didn't have the time.
quite difficult to get back into the UK. But you know, I would not say I love to travel. I love to go to certain places. I wouldn't say I love to travel. I just like to be in certain places, and the only way to be in those places is to
He
go
didn't
there.
believe you, huh, Chris? You can't possibly be British with a town
It
like
gets
that.
tougher. Yeah, like we had one where I had to kind of grab Joyce and mildly gag her this past trip to Germany, talking about people and dealing with it. We were on the train to Warnemünde, and it was hot, and everybody was going to the beach. The trains were packed, and the doors would open,
Overpacked.
and the people were trying to squeeze in anyhow. And
There was no room.
Joyce was like, no room. And, you know, the locals are looking at her like, you know, and she's saying
don't
it in
care.
German. She's like, kein Platz, kein Platz,
I don't care.
keinen
still
Platz.
don't
And they're
care.
pushing in. And yes, they're pushing you out of the way. We
And
had,
they're pushing us into corners.
yeah, they're
and-
pushing you in tightly into corners. The most obnoxious one was the Japanese big shot and his wife.
Oh,
Remember him with the
yeah.
really expensive Omega watch and the $500 sunglasses, and his wife has got on $600 sunglasses, and
I didn't appreciate the one with the stroller who pushed her.
oh
around.
yeah, the one with the stroller was
She
bad
had a
too.
stroller and a gaggle of people.
And
That's
everybody
it.
was grumpy.
Yeah,
Everybody
they
was
were.
grumpy on that train, but it's like Joyce was vocalizing it, where everybody else was just and underneath Joyce was vocalizing. Shut up.
I was trying to be funny. I get stressed. I do that.
Well, it didn't sound like you're trying to be funny.
I wasn't always trying to be funny. Mostly I was trying to be funny.
And I mean, I'm screaming in my brain and realizing Joyce is screaming it out loud.
Let's get
There's
kind
no
Platz.
main room on the
Let's get
train.
kind Platz.
And then you
That
got the
was
guy in
like
front
that.
of you. You got the guy in front of you that I believe he had garlic and something else for breakfast.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah, I
you really
understand,
have
Mon.
to, Mon. You would really regret it if you didn't.
Well, if you have a good relationship with them.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I believe Mon does.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, Todd. We
Yeah,
like to
we
stay.
do a kind of a mix.
Yeah, we do a mix. We like to stay in a bigger town or just outside a bigger town, but on a main rail. Because we don't rent cars when we travel.
Right.
We
So, yeah, we stay somewhere that's centralized, that has a train station close enough, and goes to all these different places we'd like to see.
yeah. So like when we were in Stuttgart, we actually stayed about 15 minutes outside of Stuttgart.
Right.
Ebersbach under
Lovely,
Fies.
lovely little town.
But it was on the main route in and out of Stuttgart,
Right.
so that when our train was supposed to leave from Stuttgart, we could hop on and be there in
go to
12
Stuttgart
minutes.
and then go where we were
Right
going.
at the main train
Right.
station. So we had to, except they changed our train from Stuttgart to Esslingen. So we had to go to
Anthony has
Esslingen.
traveled a lot more in the USA than I have, but I have traveled some in the US too. We just got the international bug,
I have been
and it's been phew.
I have been in every state except Maine and New Hampshire, Vermont, whichever one of those two I haven't been to. Whichever one's closer to the border. And I haven't been in Oregon or Washington. I've been in every other state because we hit Hawaii in 2024.
Yeah, we did.
Even if it was only for 8
We
hours.
haven't been to Alaska either.
Oh, Alaska, that's right.
I still think a trip to Alaska would be cool. You don't.
It might be cool, but yeah, there's a lot of reasons I don't want to go to
Bears
Alaska.
and
Oh, seeing the bears and seeing the
moose
mountains
and
and
hills
all that
and-
would be cool. But there's other reasons I don't want to go to Alaska.
Yeah, I know.
You're just missing Alaska and Hawaii.
That's good, Leo.
Yeah, I thought I was doing good with 40. I've met a few people that have been in all, but
Right.
I did most of that when we
Well,
were
Alaska
young.
and Hawaii are the hardest ones to get to, so.
Because we married young and had kids young, so.
We did.
But we started building up where we did in 2002. We did a big out west trip.
Right.
And we drove around. So we hit a lot of the states then too. And that was Joyce's
Although
first time
the
being west of
furthest
Chicago.
west we went was
Wyoming,
Wyoming.
Yellowstone Park.
Yeah. Yeah, we were in Yellowstone.
We went
Had a
close to the
wonderful time.
Montana
It was on
and
fire while we were there, so that was interesting.
yeah, part of
Yeah,
Yellowstone was on
Alaskan
fire when we were there.
cruise. So you'd be safe. You'd just be on a boat. And,
So we did that with our kids. But the thing is, I had hoped to travel internationally, and I thought when I retired I would finally get to go to Germany. But in 2002 we did that big drive. But when we got back from that big drive, I got a phone call and they said, "Hey Anthony, yeah, you've got a degree in German, right? Yeah. Would you like to come and teach German?"
Oh, that's lovely, Todd.
"Would you like to come and teach German at this school in the city?" And I was like, my kids are going to start
Gotcha,
there
Mom.
next year. My oldest daughter started her freshman year was my first year there. I was like, hell yeah. And that same year they came up, 2002, 2003, they came up and asked me, do you want to start an exchange program? And I was like, hell yeah. So we started the exchange program in 2003. So yeah, 2002 I started there, and
40
then
years
2003 we
old
started the
before he
exchange.
got on his first plane, and he was trailing a bunch of high schoolers with him.
Yeah.
I should say
yeah.
us. We did that together. Oh, I understood,
So
Brad.
we stay,
Yeah,
so
that
we
is
stay in a
awesome.
main town, but then we like to go to both small and big towns.
Yeah,
and
we
see the
just mix
things.
it up. Yeah.
You miss traveling, but now you're home, bud. See, I traveled in the U.S., of course, with family, but my world was always, I was like Luke Skywalker, Yoda scolding Luke Skywalker, always your mind.
Hey, Raymond.
Oh, Raymond
Oh,
Anthony.
thanks for popping in.
Always your mind elsewhere, Like, yeah, I always dreamt of traveling, getting out of Toledo. Of course, I still live in Toledo, but my goal at 16
Yeah,
and 17,
That's what I'm thinking too. is
my goal
just-
at 16 and
would be
17 was to
breathtaking.
leave America and live a bohemian lifestyle somewhere in Germany.
Well, indeed, you need a traveling buddy.
Yeah, it's tougher to travel on your own. It's nice to have somebody with you.
Artie's getting kind of lonely. You could travel with him. Just saying.
I think, yeah, Artie went to bed, but
Yeah.
I think it's starting to hit him now that he's left his
Yeah.
family in Serbia, that, he's on his own.
It's not as much fun by yourself. Yeah.
You'd like to go visit Albuquerque. I've been in Albuquerque, but I think I was 4. But unfortunately, the things I really want to see in the world are in Central Europe. I've seen what for me were the big American draws. I've been to certain battlefields, Civil War battlefields. Ohio itself has a whole bunch of historical places. There's only one place in Ohio we still have to go to, which is Snake Mound. We've
Yeah.
never been to that. We both want to go to that.
Oh, we do that next
But
weekend.
in America, we've been to the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, okay.
I've been to the Rocky Mountains 3 times. The only thing is I've never seen the Pacific Coast in California and I do want to get into Washington and Seattle. I don't know if that will ever happen because going to Erfurt in Germany, going to the state of Oregon, Erfurt wins. Meissen wins. Leipzig wins. Just the places that I'm really drawn to are in Europe. I don't even have a desire to go to Asia.
Not really that hard to travel with, but well, most of the time it's not.
The only time I'm hard to travel with is
You're not hard to travel with, other than your flying issues.
I tell let's see. I have no desire to go to Asia, anywhere in Asia. I have no desire. No desire to travel in the Middle East. Absolutely none.
That's cool. Right to New Zealand for Christmas.
My biggest
warm.
desires outside of Germany are I want to do Scandinavia. I want to get to northern Norway and Sweden and over to Finland. I'd love to do that. And then I want to hit southeastern Europe. I would love to get into Romania and Bulgaria. But Spain and Italy, which are so popular with people, it's not that I'm against them or opposed to them. It's just there's 10,000 other places I want to go to before I get to those places. There's still places in the UK I want to hit.
5:59.
It is 5:59.
Yeah.
Well, I managed to annoy Ramble and
Oh, you annoyed Randall?
no. Annoy and Ramble.
Oh, annoy and Ramble. Okay.
And the thing is, when you tell people you have no desire to go somewhere,
I bet.
they interpret it as that, why don't you like it?
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like it, it's just there's no draw from it.
It's not on the list.
I have
You have
other
anything
things
on
that
here?
are a draw to me, and so if I want a trip to Japan on a game show and they want to let me trade it in for a trip to Scandinavia, then I would go to Japan. But those things just. I mean, it would be cool. South America, I have no desire to go. To be honest, if it's hot and humid, I have no desire to go there. Hot and or humid, I have no desire to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Nordic guy.
He is.
I have no trouble hopping into that 50-degree seawater where Joyce is out there. It's cold!
True.
Speaking of Joyce and it's cold, all the vacation videos are up on her channel now. If you want to see what we did, 15 different videos. Some are long because I probably had 25 to 30 hours of video and I condensed it into
you did a lot of editing.
15
It's the
videos,
truth.
one of which is an hour long. The rest are 25 minutes to 45 minutes. There's one that's just over an hour. Well, I think one of them's an hour and a half.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I guess
And
I'll go
then
back and
there's
look.
a bunch of others that are 50 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 15 videos. All right, anyhow, we need to
I
take
just
care
like
of our
watching 'em.
dinner and take care of some other things. So, Jeff, I will try to peek in. And Dominic, I will try to watch that video. Except I just killed the link to it.
You killed it.
Yeah, I accidentally closed that window out.
Oh, okay.
So on that
Can do
note,
it
I'm
again.
going to say, and Joyce is going to join me, we're
Yeah.
going to say, Auf Wiedersehen
Choose.
and happy trains. Take care, everybody.
Bye.